my Ethernet connection decided to explode for some reason, so I've now swapped over to my wireless. I have a feeling something has happened to my cable. May have been the result of a kitten chewing on it. But regardless, luckily we were only a few minutes into this session. So, we'll just restart this for the sake of the YouTube video. We are back with the party in the outskirts of Waterdeep, where they have joined with Cirrus, Penfold's son, to gather some ember blossoms. The party dealt with the wolves that attacked with them and are now cooking what they could scavenge before the rest of the pack devoured their companions and left them. And they were just having some mild discussions. So, let's join them back at that as our wonderful mad druid was basically making wolf steak burgers.
It was delicious.
And she handed it over to Rascal. Rascal ate it down in 2 juicy bites. And
very juicy.
and then Hunter, you told you gave my poor Berry Bunny a smack in the head.
I just gave him a simple brain duster, you know.
And then Ashword said, and you said he was stupid for what he did, and Ashword said maybe not stupid, just foolhardy. And I think that brings us up to date, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
You and
Matt's trying to divert the conversation.
Yeah.
So Vaizan isn't letting you fiddle with his food and is just taking his own directly.
Yeah, and she says at that point, before I make my own, does anyone else want one of those?
No, I
She
thought
offers the bread and cheese.
But to be honest,
Okay, so she whips up another for Cirrus, and then one with her share for her, or she already gave her share to Rascal, so she sits back down after making one for Cirrus.
Yeah. So Cirrus, this is the happiest you've seen him be since you started traveling with him from Waterdeep. Up until the fight, he was just kind of the typical gloomy teenager. He's like, oh, I have to do chores, it sucks. But after the fight, he seems a lot more invigorated. He's still kind of riding the adrenaline high from the combat, and now he just seems excited to be around, like, real adventurers, and is enjoying the whole aesthetic. And now he's eating a meal that has been cooked over open fire in a field. He's camping. He feels all manly. So he's munching on this little wolf steak burger, and he's kind of buzzing.
to be honest, the cook in my old unit, he did shred the meat and put it in a bread roll. And put it with garden vegetables and his sauce. Very garlicky.
Maybe you could try that for the tavern.
I don't know. I might have to teach the cook. After all, we probably don't want to be standing in the kitchen all day. But I can try.
Sorry, that'd be great. Cirrus, by the way, you were amazing. You've been nothing but amazing the entire night.
Yeah, I can't believe I managed to get that wolf. That was pretty cool.
You made him swallow fire, Cirrus.
Oh, we really probably shouldn't tell my dad.
Oh, you have to tell him.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear you got a bit of a taste for the adventurer's life, kid.
Yeah.
I think he'll be impressed. I think he'd be impressed at what you did.
Yeah, but Dad gets worried about us really easily. You should have seen how long it took my sister to convince him to let her go. He was convinced something horrible was going to happen.
Well, if she's anything like you, and she can kill a wolf with fire in one strike, then I think she'll be all right.
Yeah, I think she's pretty good with her magic, but she wants to go and try be a cleric. I don't see the appeal.
What do you want to be?
kind of just following in my dad's footsteps at the moment.
Well, that's a noble profession too.
That definitely doesn't sound like what you want to do, though. But it's fair. You probably don't know exactly what you want to do right now.
Yeah, he just kind of gives like the full body shrugs, like,
Yeah.
Well, we're on the subject of a tavern. Ali just reaches into a pocket and just throws this pouch to Rascal.
Mm. Do I have to roll to catch it, or do I just catch it?
You're good. Unless she's pelting it at you, yeah, I'm pretty sure a little.
She's not pelting it.
Okay, he catches it then.
She kind of takes another bite. She takes another slice of wolf meat and she's kind of chewing on it.
Hmm.
And inside the pouch is 30 gold pieces.
Ah, your rent, presumably.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thank you for the contribution. All right, come here, little piggy. Hey, little buddy. We got some food for you.
He like,
Yeah,
like
you'd
runs
like
over
that.
and does that little thing where like they lean back on their back paws and put like their front little trotters on your shin, and his little
Aw.
tail is just kind of boinging about. He looks like a very happy piggy.
I live for moments like these.
Yeah.
And Rascal will
Nice.
feed the 30 gold to Rudolph. I'll add that to his inventory now.
You just set it down for him, or are you feeding him coin by coin?
Yeah, I just set it down on the ground for him so he can add it in his own time.
Alright. You set the little pouch down and Rudolph goes at it. It's like you ever
Yeah.
see those you ever see those videos of the puppies who get like really overly excited and just like attack the bowl and the bowl starts sliding around? It's kinda like that.
Suffice to say, a couple more buy-ins and I get the same odds. We'll be seeing a lot more of it.
Ah, fantastic. Best of luck for you and your bats then. You know, little buddy, one day we hope to feed you a whole lot more coin. Yeah, I've had a lot of ups and downs, but yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
This is my life. I make pig noises on the internet.
But we love them.
Don't even matter. Hey.
Either
This is
that
our
or
life.
confused goblin noises.
Distressed goblin noises.
Yeah, I mean, confused as well.
Yeah, true.
Jurnis, this is our life. We listen to you make pig noises on the internet.
That is true.
We're actively coming to you to make pig noises. Do you make pig
I'm an
noises?
adult, I swear. Anyway,
So are we. We swear.
so Rudolph seems quite excited of the promise of future treats, but right now he's happily munching away at the little gold coins. Every now and again,
Sorry, you first.
every now and again he'll like plop one on the ground, bat it around a few times, and then before eating it. It seems he's picking up habits from the tavern cats.
Oh, yeah.
Aww. Mads,
Hello.
meanwhile, is starting. Go ahead.
You know, Mads, I've been meaning to teach Rudolph to go after coins on the tavern floor since we got them. We might need to do a crash course in that before we open.
I thought the same thing. We are just so connected. And then, how is Rascal sitting?
Good question. I'm basically gonna say he's gonna be kind of sat between Mads' legs, really, kind of wriggled up back against her.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's fine. She moves to try to massage his shoulders, but she looks like she's suddenly very tired.
Aww. Oh, what was going on in the chat there? Okay. Aww.
Oh, he just kind of, she kind of shrugs and just goes, look, I don't need the money from the fights. Okay?
I never really suggested you did. You're clearly a survivor, and you can survive on very little.
What does a survivor need?
I get my rent. Basically, I pay my way with barracks. Save up whatever I have left at the end of the month. A little bit of gold tucked away in the bank. And as soon as I've dealt with the plague rats, I'm buying passage and never seeing Waterdeep again.
Oh,
You cut off 30?
well, she says,
Yeah.
"Oh, you're leaving?"
Not until I've seen every last plague rat dancing from the gallows.
To be honest, like, how long have we been here now? Like, together? A 10-day, maybe 10 days tops, and we've experienced some shit. I cannot blame you for wanting to turn tail on Waterdeep at the soonest opportunity. But I am determined to make this work. So I'm sticking it out.
And you are
my
gonna
dear,
do. Sorry,
my
go ahead.
offer does still stand.
Rest assured, Captain Bison, I have a very interesting offer for your association.
I'm sure we'd love to hear it.
Well, let's just say, if the guard can't spare the resources to go after the plague rats, I'd quite like to send Tarim to assist the city.
That is a service we can provide.
It would
And
st-
will not be as nice as the guard.
You may have to follow some rules, but an official contract with the city would certainly bring prestige to your organization.
Very tempting.
Speaking of the plague rats, Isla, something occurs to me. We've had a detective be one of our neighbors since we moved in here. Surprised you never took them up on their services. Like, did
That's-
everyone just forget we have a detective nearby?
You mean the private investigator?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't.
For one
I didn't
thing-
forget.
We never met the man, but I believe he runs Tiger's Eye.
Mhm.
Well, for one thing, I'm a detective myself.
Ah,
Second, I've spent the last 5 years searching down as much as I can.
Wait, you're a detective too, Alia?
That's what an investigator does.
Wow, what are the odds of that? 3 detectives.
And as I said, I've spent every waking moment when I'm not on duty tracking down the plague rats,
So
finding
you've
their
only ever
hideouts,
had. Sorry, go ahead.
finding their hideouts, important people in the organization, various bits and pieces. I've been collaborating all the information, and hopefully soon I shall have enough to take to the commander.
true, but perhaps it couldn't hurt to, like, hire some help. Just food for
I've
thought.
always worked better alone.
Well,
Mads gets a sad face look. That used to be how it was for me. I didn't realize how much I hated it until later. Until now. Moves to try to hug Rascal again.
aw, he'll let you hug him.
It's how it's always been for me.
That's how it always was for me.
Well, there's no harm having some other people help you, especially when the results need to disappear.
See, listen to Vizzy. He knows what he's talking about.
That is true.
Besides,
Yeah.
we'll help you.
Well,
Won't we,
thank you.
everybody?
It is appreciated.
I should also
Yeah,
probably
on
clarify
that
for
note-
the chat as well that I'm currently
I think it
taking over
needs
Vizan
addressing.
because we've lost Dennis.
Yeah.
Dennis, unfortunately, due to his work schedule, cannot be with us tonight. We're trying to work something out, but that is why
He's here.
I am doing a very poor impersonation of Vizan.
Oh no, you have the
No, it's pretty
You-
good.
You actually are really good, and you have the intonations down,
Mm.
especially those last moments of each sentence. Oh, you're hitting it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Uh,
so.
Alia.
Sorry, Rascal, I interrupted while I was doing a
No worries.
clarification. Go ahead.
No worries. Alia, I recognize you lost your position because of us. Particularly because of me. You stuck your neck out for me when I got myself arrested. I'm sorry about that. Should have lost your job on our account.
Well, with any luck, the commanders seen to my suspension being revoked. Hopefully.
I hope so, and if you... Sorry.
If not, I'll be back in the watch soon enough.
I hope so, and if you need a character witness... She bow gestures to herself.
I'm sure that'll work.
It's wonderful. She and I have a lot in common.
Well, all I can say is that I hope it works out for you, Alia. I'd like for you to be back where you belong, doing what you like to do best, rather than babysitting us.
Matt's nods in agreement.
Rest assured, it's... The thing with the plague rats is just a means to an end. I had the option of getting out a long time ago, but I want to make them pay for what they did.
That makes sense.
That's fair enough. We all have our values in life. And I nearly died for mine, and clearly you're very willing to die for yours.
Will you stop talking about dying, Rascal? Hug. Try to hug again.
I mean, it's kind of a big deal. Can't really gloss over it. I'm feeling very mortal right now.
I know, and I'm feeling that for you too.
Well, as I said before, I was that certain you'd come back with your tail between your legs. I didn't really think there would be much of a problem.
Mads looks really
far
sorrowful.
too stubborn for that.
My berry bunny's indestructible.
Let's just say I'm not exactly used to people volunteering information.
Rascal looks a little confused for a second. In what regard?
Generally, where I usually work, they tend not to like talking to the watch.
Oh. Well.
Sometimes I have to get a little aggressive in my interrogation.
In order to
Which is
lubricate their
why
tongue.
I feel my methods would work very well.
Because you saw what happened with the that guy at the mansion. He took one look at me and, well, let's just say my reputation preceded me.
That it did.
Mads looks over at Saris and says, Saris?
Oh, yeah. He like, kind of starts, and then he like had the burger like halfway to his mouth. He's like, yeah.
Is it still good?
It's quite tasty, yeah. A little chewy, but...
I'm really glad you're here, Saris. I'm really glad you're here. You've been helping us so much. And... This whole group appreciates you. I think that's true for everybody.
Oh, yeah.
Isn't that true, everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
So what's the point?
Like the first little beams of pride in his little teenage face.
So Saris, what's the plan for tomorrow?
Well, you guys said we wanted to gather a few more flowers, and then
As
we had to
many
get
as
home.
possible. Yeah.
We needed to get home, or else Hunter was gonna kill us all because she was gonna miss something important.
Oh yeah.
Hunter.
Oh no! I'm not going to kill you.
Yeah, I think my dad might be a little upset if you did.
Yeah, she's just gonna kill the rest of us.
Point of order question. Do I recall correctly that Penfold told us that the crushed ones make perfume?
No.
No,
Alia
that
told
was
you that.
Saris.
Alia told us that. Okay.
It wasn't, it was Cirrus.
Oh, was it
It was
Cirrus?
Cirrus.
Okay, sorry. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of, do you think you could do me a favor? Could you gather some in the way that we need for making perfume?
Well, you just need to live them for that. There's no real
Are there some?
special
And
preparations.
looking around, are there any that I could just grab out myself for perfume?
Yeah, there's tons. Like,
Oh, okay.
It's like you ever see just those fields of tulips where it's just all color. It's kind of
Yes.
like that in like these little islands of color in the desolated land. Cirrus has only been taken ones that are in absolute pristine condition and in a certain stage of blooming.
Right.
The other ones they're too early or they're too late, but they're still in good condition. Those are the ones you would take for the perfume. The ones that are crushed or damaged couldn't be used because the oils are already starting to escape. So if you just get yourself a few pristine flowers that are not good for the alchemical ingredients, you could find it.
Mads gets up and walks over to Cirrus and says, "Could you point me where would be the best ones for just perfume?"
Sure. And he leads you over to a little patch over here.
Okay, and then Mads. Sorry, go ahead.
Is it Alligator near a patch?
I'd say there's a patch. There's like patches all around. Like there's the big massive patches, and then there's like small clusters of like a dozen or so flowers in these areas.
A few minutes before the fight, you already dabbled some essential oils on yourself.
Yeah,
just reminding.
within pretty easy reach. Cirrus is just taking Mads to a bigger clump so he can be sure that he can find one to show her. He wants to succeed in this little test.
Yeah.
Alia is going to discreetly kind of shuffle away towards one of the patches.
Sure, there's like a little patch just over here.
Mads wants to try to collect some flowers and put them in. We can presume she grabs a bag from the card or something. If there's like someone has a bag she can get.
Yeah.
So she's going to try to fill a sack with as many as she can before she gets tired.
Sure. I would say you managed to get yourself... Cirrus explains you only need the flower, so you don't really need the stem. So you're just enjoying yourself lopping the heads off flowers and throwing them back. And you managed to get yourself, I'd say, probably about 5 pounds of flower heads.
That works. And then she walks back, and she says, and then she says before, she says, "And what does it take to make the perfume?"
Well, I'm not entirely sure. They take the flowers and they press them for the oil. And then I think they do something with the oil. There's other ingredients, but I don't know what those are.
Okay. Thank you, Cirrus. Thank you. And then she comes back with her 5-pound bag and goes back to Rascal. And then sits back down and says, "Honey, I am really tired."
That I can definitely see. Are you sure you're okay?
She shrugs. "Yeah, I'm fine."
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't fucking buy that for a second.
She is lying, and I would assume we don't even need to roll for it because
it's very obvious.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you want, you could tell me privately.
It's not anything to tell. I told you. I'm and then she like reaches over.
Day.
Then she reaches over and moves to try to hug him again, and then sits back down.
I think I get
I
it.
think I know who's taking one of the watches because we have to, unfortunately, do that. I'm terribly sorry about that.
I tried to tell the wolves not to come back, but I have no idea if they'll listen.
Yes, that is why we have to keep watch so that they don't surprise us.
I don't want to shirk my duties, but I've been up for over 24 hours, and I don't think time spent in a near-death state counts as rest.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Wait,
well,
near death?
Yeah.
he had a very terrible encounter with someone who was apparently not willing to come with him and talk.
I'll take one of the watches.
Thank you, Alia.
Thank you, Alia.
All right. Yeah. I'll
But
take
there
one
should
of
be
the
two of
watches
us
as well.
watching. There should be two of us watching each time.
If I'm catching a little bit of rest, I can probably make do.
Mads nods with her eyes closed. Okay. She sort of leans forward and like boops her chin on top of Rascal's between Rascal's ears and then goes,
Aw.
let's just go to bed.
Okay. He sort of slowly just like sits down and lets guides Mad's head to rest on his lap.
And that's exactly what she does. And she goes, thank you.
Just drapes an arm around her and strokes her head.
You know, everything I have is yours too. If you want it.
You know I want everything about you, sweetheart. Everything I have is yours too.
Everything I own. Even my tree. And she's like got her eyes closed and she's like sleepy. You are 50% co-owner of my tree.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go into the tent now. Uncomfortable
Good night,
teenagers,
Sarah.
uncomfortable!
Okay.
Cooties.
All right. I'm going to set up an alarm.
And where do you put it?
20 by 20 by 20. Going to be tricky because it's a fairly small area. I think right about say. Now that's a little too large. Over there, you mean?
Just say where you want it. Ping where you want the lower left-hand corner.
I'm thinking
Oh,
around
you don't
here.
have to. Okay, well, we'll use your shape instead.
Or rather, sorry, 2.5 feet shifted down. I said 2.5, not 5.
Yeah, out there.
Yeah, roughly.
Alright, fair enough. It's not like I'm gonna throw anything horrible at you overnight.
Never.
That's why I chose That's why I tried doing this smart in the smart version.
Okay.
And I'm going to use my last spell point for the night. No, the 2 don't come, but at least I'm getting 10 hit points back.
Fair enough.
Just in case.
Just in case, so yeah.
You never know.
I'll take probably first and third watch. Unless someone else wants to take one of them.
How many watches are there going to be throughout the night? Like, is it
I
going
would
to be...
say, considering you've worked the poor boy late into the night, you'd only need 3.
Okay. Arya's got 1. Ashwood's got at least 1.
Yeah.
Does Hunter
No.
want that beauty sleep?
Though, to be honest, it makes a lot of sense to have 2 people because you can look in 2 directions at once.
Oh, yeah, that reminds me. Ashwood doesn't have dark vision, which might be problematic.
I'm near the I'm near here, and if necessary, I can always bring out a torch. It's not like I'm completely out without abilities.
Hmm.
Mm,
Wait, halflings don't have.
No, we don't
No,
have.
They don't.
We don't have dark vision. What do you think we are, kobolds?
You did Genasi.
Well, no, a lot of. Yeah, but we've been getting to the point where usually a lot of humanoid races have dark vision.
Yeah, dark vision is basically the norm in the game at this point.
So unfortunately, I'm just nimble and resilient. Well, I still have my military rank of lieutenant, but that's neither here nor there. My primary awareness is most likely gone, so yeah, I'm shit out of luck, in a way. But I will keep a torch on me, of course.
And regrettably, neither you nor Alia are as attractive as a kobold. I'm sorry.
Who
I'm
said
not
we wanted to be? Who said anything about me wanting to be attractive as a kobold?
That's the spirit. Keep telling yourself that.
Alex bluntly says, "I'm not attractive."
I disagree with that statement, but I get the feeling you will kill me if I labor on it too much.
That would be correct.
Okay, we'll leave it at that then.
I was going to contest that, but it seems you don't want any of us to do that.
It's the healthy choice, I presume.
I'm so sad Mads is asleep.
She's had a tough day.
You had the tougher day.
Yep. But it's Rascal.
That's our Rascal, everyone.
There's a joke I want to make about the eye
Yeah,
of the holder.
Ali does make a point of looking at Ashford and just says, "Can you honestly say if you had half your face carved off, you wouldn't be ashamed of what it looked like?"
Well, to be honest, the way it healed with you, it doesn't look too bad.
Just a reminder of what happened.
If you pardon the rebuttal, I'm mostly battle scars at this point, and Fallball said it's gonna look freaking cool when it heals up.
Well, to be honest, there are a few scars that you and I do not want to bear. Oh, bear.
That's
Hmm.
deep, man.
Wow.
But even Ashwood has things that he doesn't want to tell.
Oh yeah, we know. So, is Saris asleep by this point?
He's in the tent and the tent is closed, so you can't tell.
Hmm.
You can roll a
Can't
perception check.
Yes, with big kobold ears.
Come on, Rascal.
Where is that bloody stat?
Yes!
You kind of pause and listen. You lift up your large ear and you hear the soft little breaths of little rat folk, deep, sleepy breathing. So you can safely assume that Cirrus has curled up and gone to sleep. Considering the sheer amount of work you've done, it's probably understandable, the poor boy.
The cute little rat folk is fast asleep. which is great because now we can talk openly.
Hmm.
I mean, we were pretty open earlier, but I could tell the poor boy was getting uncomfortable.
Hmm.
Well, he was a teenager and you were being a little touchy-feely. You know how teenagers are with affection.
Mm.
I was figuring it was all the morbid stuff about death and
Well, that too, I presume.
our like adventuring shenanigans. But I don't know.
Those things. Those will
Yeah.
excite him.
I hope so. It's probably good that he hears about the more unpleasant side of it. Can't be all just torching wolves.
True. Sometimes you torch people.
You're not wrong.
And sometimes you torch places.
Other times you end up in a pile tangled with your party at the bottom of stairs.
And his face just kind of sours at that.
Ashwood gives him a very pointed look about burning places. Though Vizan has probably no idea what the hell Ashwood's referring to.
And even Rascal gets the idea of what he's referring to.
Wasn't Rascal there when he told the story of the Zentarum,
yeah.
the alleged Zentarum, burning Grandpapa's pub?
I thought Captain Vizan was there too for that, but maybe he wasn't.
No, he
we were
wasn't.
talking behind his back.
Well, he said burning people, not places, but anyway.
No, Ashwood was talking about places.
Oh, sorry, I misheard. Okay, so. Rascal, what would you want to do?
So, the Nimblewright. What happened with that?
Barnabas has taken possession of it.
Well,
So,
what was left of it.
Okay, good. I'm glad someone took care of it.
Remind me, did someone tell Rascal what happened to the Nimblewright?
Don't think anyone did. That's why I'm asking about it now.
he was unconscious when the
Yes.
Kobold told me what happened.
You know, the guys who rescued you, they went to town on your assailant.
Can't say I'm surprised. Piss off kobolds, and you might as well have brought down Tiamat upon yourselves. Never shortchange a kobold.
It's a good thing that they found you.
Definitely, I owe them my life. That and our good Captain Vizan, of course. But, well, if it weren't for them, you wouldn't have had a Rascal Skyreach to heal, so...
Vizan just like toast you with what's left of his meat stick.
Rascal does a nod back. In no position to return a toast because of the druid across his lap. Yeah, I definitely bet on the wrong horse in that race.
You bet on
We
the
had
wrong.
something in common, but we couldn't have been any further apart. Offered the Nimblewright a choice, and it made the choice to be nothing but a cold-hearted killer. I thought that it was just being used as a tool, and it didn't really have a choice. That it was a slave, much like I was. And they've
Sadly,
just given
you'll find the same thing in a lot of people. You give them a choice, they'll choose to be vicious. Like putting it to door.
I start emulating Dennis, and then it just slowly turns into Dura
Yeah.
the more I talk. Oh,
You know, roughly about 10 days ago, Captain Peachy, I would have disagreed with you, but
as you call him
Yeah.
Captain Peachy, his eyes just kind of narrow. It's like,
Look, you saved my life. I'm considering you a friend. But if you'd rather I not, I won't.
For now, I'd rather you didn't.
Okay. Captain Vizan it is.
He just kind of nods.
Didn't mean to offend. Sorry.
Oh my boy, if you offended me, you know.
Yeah, I definitely believe that. Probably have a blade in my face.
No.
Some people cannot escape. Some people are what they are meant to be. We can't change that.
Thing is, most people are able to take their own future into their own hands and decide where it goes.
Believe me, the amount of times I escaped from that orphanage, they would probably believe you.
Ah,
Speaking of where we go, where do we go from here? Was there anything on the Nimble ride, or do we get any leads from it? Or is this a dead end?
it is pretty much a dead end, unfortunately. It might have acted all upon itself, or it might have acted with that group that had infiltrated the house.
Hmm.
Tell
I'm
me,
pretty. Yes.
what would you do if you found out it knew more than it let on?
Hmm. Well,
We know what it was supposed to be carrying.
what it was supposed to be carrying? I'm afraid I don't know that. But it sounds like you do.
I believe we all overheard that the Nimblewright was sent off with a certain item.
Everyone, care to fill me in?
You
The
were here
player
for it.
knows, the character doesn't. No, Rascal wasn't really paying attention because he's kind of in single-minded must save the Nimblewright mode.
The player has actually forgotten.
Oh.
Yes,
The stone of
I
the
don't remember everything.
I've had a long week. Don't look at me.
Talia wasn't even there, so
Oh my god.
Yeah, you were. You were glaring at the back of Crowley's head.
there you go. She wasn't really there.
The stone of Kubur!
Yous all did kind of hear them talking about how the Nimblewright was sent off with the stone.
There's a stone, yes.
It was what yous were able to piece together from your combined investigation efforts in Trollskull Alley, in the mansion, and what you were told by Barnabas, and what you overheard from when Crowley was getting all the information together, is that Ursel was his Zentarum agent who, after the explosion of the fireball, stole the stone from the gnome and then retreated back to the mansion. Then, during the fight, where the kidnapped and held hostage occupants of the house fought back, the Nimblewright was given the stone and sent off. You were able to piece that together after all the snippets you heard. You then subsequently forgot because it was like 3 weeks ago.
Yes. Or 4 days at most. In game, I mean. In game, I meant, yes. Yeah. So the Nimblewright was sent off with the stone. I suppose you didn't see any stones within the Nimrod when you had your little encounter.
Definitely not.
Well, I
Well,
wasn't.
that leads me back to my original question. What would you do if you found out what it had done with it? What would be your intentions with this information?
All right, all right. Well, it tried to take my life, so I'm going to take what it was delivering. I want to take it for all it was worth.
So, you're saying you'd like to claim the content of the stone?
Well, yeah, it's certainly no good in some shady criminal organization's hands. And we're involved in this now, whether we like it or not. We're just some like bystanders, but we're roped up in this, so if we stand to benefit from it, we should.
Well, it seems to me.
Vaizan just kind of shifts, and he seems to be straightening himself up. Not to look intimidating, but more to draw your attention to him now as he's speaking. You get the impression that he's about to have a proposal for you.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that amount of money is a little too much for one person. It will put a target on your back for all sorts of horrible thieves and scammers and those who would take advantage of your goodwill. Perhaps.
Big toothy grin from Rascal. Of course you'd know about those sorts of people, wouldn't you, Captain Vaizan?
Me. Of course not. But. Hello, kitten. Get off my shoulder.
Where did the kitten come from?
Perhaps
Hunter
you should
just getting
ask a
bored.
hunter. You seem attracted to that damn necklace.
Yeah, sorry, Che
I have
just
no
kind
idea.
of jumped on the back of my chair.
You're my kitten too, Barry Bunny.
Okay, sorry, back to serious mood.
Well, there is also the possibility where you could claim a substantial amount, enough that you could live comfortably. But then what to do with the rest to avoid unpleasant attention?
Why do I have the feeling that I'm not going to like the offer?
Well, my organization, it is relatively new and does require perhaps a little investment. It would be very grateful to someone who would be able to give it such liquid assets to help grow its interests, invest in legitimate businesses, help prepare our agents for their mercenary work in guarding caravans and such. And the organization would be very, very grateful to anyone who would help in that matter.
The organization being?
You know who it is, Ashword.
Kins and Tarim.
Indeed, the Black Network.
Frankly, as I said before, whatever my share is, Zentarum can have it.
And with that, you will earn our assistance in your quest to rid the world of the plague rats.
Precisely. And if necessary, make sure that no one follows me out of Waterdeep.
That can also be very easily arranged, along with a decent stipend where you can set up a life of comfort, if that is your preference.
No, I have 70 gold, that's all I need to get the ship out. Maybe keep myself going a couple of months until I can find something.
Well, we'll not leave you penniless on the street after you provide us with such helpful investment. But that is my proposal. Each of you would get enough to live comfortably for many years, as well as friendship and protection from the Zentarum.
That in character or out?
In character.
Something funny, my friend?
Zentarum, eh? You with the idiots who burned my grandfather's tavern down? You can clearly hear that there's no accent.
Definitely no accent.
The Zentarum is wide-reaching, my friend. We are mercenaries.
I asked you a question.
That is the organization I am with. Yes. But don't glare at me as though I was the one who personally threw the torch into the thatch.
Ashwood,
Yes?
if the captain can track down who exactly burned down your grandfather's tavern...
He's going to protect them. He's of the same scum and villainy as they are.
Well, it would depend on the circumstances. Were they doing it because they were contracted by someone else? If that is the case, we could help you find out who put the contract up. If they did it out of maliciousness and spite, then they're not acting within the Zentarum's best interest, and they will be punished.
Ever heard the words protection records? Captain?
We have been hired to offer protection.
Well, you know the kind of protection I mean. Oh, it would be a shame if your place was suddenly to burn, wouldn't it? Holding a torch to the wooden surfaces, or the bar top.
Weizen, let me.
There we actually turn the voicemail off. Weizen kind of leans forward and steeples his fists as he just kind of looks over Ashward.
Well, as I said, investment in the Zentarum will result in favors. If you want these men brought to your version of justice, all you need do is say the word.
And then you come every day to ask me to pay you back in kind. Doing dirty jobs for you.
My friend, the result of this favor would be because you assisted us in obtaining this stone.
I'm willing to trust you. But don't think that trust comes easy.
I
Captain.
wouldn't have it any other way. But that is my proposal. Each would receive enough to live comfortably for the rest of their days, as well as whatever favors, within reason, you would like. But the rest is to be invested into our organization.
And with that, he just starts looking around the circle at everyone's expressions.
I just kind of shrugs. You already have my answer.
He glances up towards Hunter.
I'm unsure at the moment. My background, quickly learned that you don't take favors from people. You do favors, but you don't take them.
I'm not saying that these favors will be unearned. Providing this asset to the Zentarum, these would be rewards. Don't call them favors, they would be rewards. Perks.
So, Rascal's been flipping through his notebook.
Uh-huh.
Very old notes indeed. Yeah, I knew the stuff was familiar. Rainier talked about it. Lord
Do
never
tell.
ended. 500,000 platinum pieces, as far as I understand. That is phenomenally more money than I can even imagine. So, your argument has, like, value. There's no way we could get that much gold out and use it without becoming the single hottest target in all of Waterdeep. Without the
Precisely.
Xanathar Guild, the authorities of Waterdeep themselves at our backs.
The
Everyone-
taxman and thieves.
And
Not
as
very
I-
much separating them.
As I understand it, this money was embezzled. So
Right.
Waterdeep will definitely want it back. But I want my slice of this pie. So we take a bit of it, Zentarum takes the rest, and we all stand to profit. It's not nice, it's not clean, but it does strike me as sensible. And the ball's
Precisely.
really in Vizant's court here.
In Waterdeep,
We've got locks, he's got the key.
Nothing is clean.
I should know I swam in its shit in my first day here.
Fuck, I forgot.
Yeah.
I've been swinging this shit all my life.
He's talking literally.
It
He's talking literally.
wasn't nice.
Yeah, no.
I'm not sure I want that story.
If you
I
stick
don't want
around long enough, you'll actually get to hear it.
I mean, I think I lost my brain that day too.
Oh,
Again,
yeah.
Not a metaphor.
Yeah.
Then
But-
it is agreed.
I mean, I am the
Yeah.
leader, so I guess I'm the final call here.
Yeah.
I
As much as I do not,
Ashword.
as much as I do not like the Zentarum, if you actually bring those to justice who did this, whether they're a member of your organization or just use its name. To be honest, if they just use that name, then
That has happened
you'd
before.
be.
They were punished severely.
That would make and get our family's good name back into good standing. I'm as I said, right now I'm willing to trust you. So yes, I'm with it.
Very well. Then we go back to Waterdeep. I shall inform my associates of our new arrangement, and will provide any support you may need. Again, within reason until we see some results.
I would be careful in Waterdeep. Zentarum aren't exactly the most liked people right now. Quite a few have been captured for questioning.
I am aware. That is why I'm having to work carefully. As far as I know, I'm not what you would call an official known affiliate of the network. So I should be okay for the time, but I may need to lay low for a little while. So if I disappear when we get back, don't hold it against me. I'll be around.
Officially, as far as I'm concerned, you managed to evade.
Well, officially, you're on what? Leave? Vacation?
That is the correct term. On suspension, yes.
Call it a vacation. You shouldn't work on your vacation. You should be free to pursue personal projects.
That is true.
Well then, seeing as everyone is now agreed,
And Vaizan reaches into his armor and pulls out a piece of paper.
this was found along with the pieces of the Nimblewright.
And he hands it over to Rascal.
Let's take a look-see at this thing.
Okay. You look over the paper, and it is a pretty crude map of what appears to be some area in Waterdeep. You know it's Waterdeep because it has a... Let me just quickly look at the map of Waterdeep to make sure I've got this correct. It has like a tiny caricature of the yawning portal as a landmark.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's certain scribbles and scribbles and scribbles, and then there's a large X near the shore. And next to it is the name Grinda Garlan. Or Garloth, sorry.
Garlon Garloff.
Grinda Garloth.
So I'm guessing since it's near the shore, it's likely the dock ward that's being depicted? Well, we've been there a few times.
Roll intelligence.
We haven't been.
We have. We passed through. Right back at the beginning of our adventures.
Isn't the Dockwood?
Yep.
Well, you were there.
So that was the sea. You're thinking of the sea ward.
Yeah, I was thinking of the seawater.
History check, yeah, Jurnis?
Intelligence.
Intelligence, my bad. 20.
With that, you can safely say that that is definitely the dock ward. You don't know the street from the top of your head. However, if you find a map of Waterdeep, which you know there to be a few dotted around the town, you could probably line this map up.
So what was that name again?
Sorry, it is Grinda Garloth.
So it seems that the Stone of Galore is with one Grinda Galoff, located somewhere in the dock ward. This map's rough, so if we want to pinpoint that location,
say,
we find another map.
Alia knows the dock ward very well.
If you want to have a look at the map and roll an intelligence check, you can try and discern where it is.
Yeah, she's
But
basically...
Vaizan will also fill you in on what he was able to glean from a history check in the last session. Is that he knows Grinda to be a magic user who is a bit of a treasure hunter, who somehow looks for sunken treasure in the harbour. Alia, with that, you can narrow it down to a certain area, but you're not sure of the streets because they don't seem fully accurate. So you could narrow it down to maybe the span of like a city block. A few streets.
I get the rough area, but this map really isn't that well made.
I mean, that's fine. We could just pick up a public map. They were everywhere. Just a quick comparison, and we should be able to figure it out lickety spit. So, proposition. I was talking about the detective earlier. We could hire him to, like, get the details on this woman. See if there's a bit more to her than what there seems, because if she's involved in this, there likely is.
If she...
go and pay her a visit ourselves.
We have a bad habit of bumbling into trouble, though, don't we?
In all my time in the Darkwood, I can't say I've heard of her.
You know what, Alia? Roll a history check. Because you're a lifelong resident of Waterdeep. You would know vaguely of her. Mostly because... Or him. Sorry. Him. I keep getting mixed up with another character. You would know of him vaguely. Because he has some sort of contraption that Barnabas seems to fawn over, but you never paid enough attention to realize what it is, to care what it is, really.
On the submarine.
Alia basically relays what she knows.
So that's basically what you know, is that this fella is a adventurer / treasure hunter. Somehow manages to get up sunken things from the harbour. And is a magic user.
So they are a tinkerer as well as a magic user. Okay.
It is a possibility.
Well, I mean, if they...
With that, I think I'm going to sleep. I'm still a little exhausted.
To be honest, so am I, but still I'm sticking around.
I'll take the first watch.
So then you leave me with second and third, okay.
Most appreciated, Alia. Ashwood, I'm sure we can work something else out, but I have been awake for the better part of 48 hours. So I'm going to just lie here.
And with that, Faizan just kind of lies down, puts his head on his arm, and he clonks out very quickly.
Ah, good. No check required. He's asleep.
Nope. Faizan was basically just on the cusp of falling asleep sitting up. He has been awake for quite some time.
Yep.
Oh. So, Alia's taking the first watch. Who would like to take the second? Because if Ashford takes 2 watches, he will not get a full night's sleep and will have a point of exhaustion. So, who wants to take the second? Or third?
I mean, what?
Ashwood takes second.
Okay.
Anyone taking third?
I mean, would Rascal suffer if he takes that? Because he has been up for a long time. And,
No.
nearly died.
As long as you get enough sleep to consider a long rest, you'll be fine, and taking 1 watch will not take that away from you.
Yeah, then he'll pitch in.
Okay.
Yeah, but you have Mads resting on you, so you wouldn't be able to be about Rascal.
Well, then I guess it falls to Hunter to cover the slack.
I mean, I can try taking on 2 watches. It's not going to be easy.
I
I've
don't
done it.
recommend it.
I've had to do it in the past. I can do it now.
I'll cover the third watch.
But
Then
there-
you will be completely exhausted, and I don't want you to be that either.
I rarely sleep anyway.
You need sleep. How else are you going to recover your strength.
Oh, for God's sake, Rascal can take first watch.
Not so asleep after all, hey, Vazan?
Not with you jabbering. Let the Kobold take first watch. Ashwood and Alia can work out what's next.
That's fair. Yep.
He just puts his
Please,
head back down.
let's agree to that.
He just puts his head back down. Flicks his tail with annoyance.
Do you want second watch, Alia?
Yes, I'll take second watch.
Alright, then I'll take third.
Okay then. So, you start shuffling around. Earlier on the night, Sarah said that that other tent was up for you guys to use. They're fairly big. They're like 3-man tents. Except Cirrus's. Cirrus is like a 1-man tiny tent. It's like a rat-folk-sized tent.
Alia basically tucks her bag into a crook of her body and curls up on the floor.
Ashwood actually rests on a tree stump.
Okay.
I can't move. I've got my giant girlfriend across my lap.
And there, if you want to have some privacy and some space to sleep comfortably,
I would see no harm in her waking her up and getting her over to somewhere if need be. I would assume, Jurnis, correct?
You could do.
I mean,
Depends on how willing Mads would be to shift.
She would be perfectly willing. She's not. She's attached to Rascal.
Hey, Rascal's a freaking kobold, so you could probably sleep anywhere. Especially when he's with you. Let's not worry about his sleeping arrangements. He'll manage.
Okay. So, first watch. Rascal, would you be so kind as to roll me a perception check?
Yep. Bum, bum, bum.
Roll the bones.
Okay.
Very perceptive boy today.
So, you spend the time just watching the embers glow in the fireplace. You glance around. You notice that certain ember blooms seem to have a mild, radiant light coming off them. Not bright enough to illuminate the area, but more just to give you that slight glow in your peripheral vision.
Yep.
In the distance, you can hear the howls of wolves, but they are pretty far off.
Pretty far away. Good.
And getting further away.
Hmm.
Other than that, there's no animal life. There's no insects. There's no birds. It is almost dead silent, except for the odd puff of wind shaking the ember blooms. It's really creepy. But your shift comes to an end with no real issues. Next shift. Roll perception.
Okay. Perception. For Christ's sake.
Okay. Alia. As Rascal curls up next to his giant girlfriend and falls asleep,
Yeah.
you sit and just look around. Every now and again you get up and circle the camp. But the smell of the ember blooms keeps bringing back a lot of pleasant and some painful memories. So you keep daydreaming, only to catch yourself to have a quick look around. But you do eventually find yourself just playing with the flowers. Just getting the oil on your fingers, sniffing at them. But aside from that, mostly it's the same as Rascal. You don't hear wolves, but you hear nothing else. Aside from the faint puffs of wind, the meadow is silent. entirely. Ashward, would you be so kind as to roll me perception?
Sure.
Okay. As Alia curls back up with her bag again and falls asleep, you do the same. You take a few moments to wake yourself up and look around. You take tiny patrols of the camp, every now and again just kind of poking at the flowers. But as the sun starts to just peak beyond the horizon, you hear nothing. You see nothing. And normally, as the sun starts to rise, you did start to expect birdsong. There's none of that. You hear
Go
no
figure.
insects, no frogs, no little critters running through the brush. This place
Well.
is silent as the grave. That's very unnerving.
Oh, Sammy, I hope it's you that is keeping the place quiet and not something else.
My heart.
It's quiet because everything's dead.
I know.
Including Sammy! Oh.
It's actually, there's been not enough time for creatures to move back in after the fires.
Well, it usually takes a few days after the ember blooms have blossomed and faded.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them starting to wilt, and that's where the cycle begins again.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I kind of picked things up on the fly.
so nothing eventful happens in the evening. Is there anything
Or
you'd
so
like
it
to
seems.
do in the morning, or shall you just make Cirrus do some work before you start heading back to town?
Well, I'm preparing, of course, my spells. After all, I'm back to my full 3 spell slots. But yeah, I think we're making him work a bit more, Mads. We're not overworking the little guy.
Yeah, Sarah should only do exactly how much he's comfortable with.
Isn't Mad still asleep or is she awake?
I think we've all woken up.
We're waking, just woken up.
Okay.
It's the morning.
Huh. And is Rascal with her when she wakes up?
Right here,
Yeah.
sweetie.
Hmm.
I'd say that
Curled up in each other's arms. Oh, cute.
Oh.
I'd say that everyone sees where Ali is sleeping.
You know, the way she's holding that, I think she needs a very big plush.
Body pillows,
It
man.
is
They're great
Yeah.
to sleep with.
Ali just goes, it is literally everything I own.
Yes. You're very protective. You're very protective of it, and I completely understand that.
Again, when you spend most of your life asleep on the streets, you get used to having to keep things close to you.
You join the foreign legions, you learn that you need to keep your things close to you.
Yeah, about that, Rascal says as he wakes Mads up with this very long and lewd kobold-like lick over her face.
I did not need to see that first thing in the morning.
You're telling me.
Rise and shine, sweetheart.
What? Huh?
Morning.
Hi. Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Good morning, Mads.
Yeah, I know we can't do
Yeah.
our usual routine, but we're in company.
I'm gonna have your babies. She's still asleep.
I'm gonna go get started.
Yes, you do that.
So
All
Cirrus goes on to a patch that you haven't touched yet. And
All
starts
Ashwood's
going
keeping an
through.
eye on him.
all according to plan. Oh, well, yeah. Good luck telling. Yeah, as far as you all know, unless you contest that, yes, this was the intended reaction, and not just Rascal being horny.
Alia cuts another
So what
piece.
are we doing today? Sorry, go ahead.
Alia just... There's probably a fair bit of wolf meat left over for breakfast, so Alia just cuts another strip off and starts eating.
Okay. We have some... Try to think of a way to phrase this. But every way I can think of phrasing it makes it sound like it's rotten.
More
you
like
have yourself
wolf jerky.
some cold meat.
Rascal would like to make this silent field not so silent and fill it with music.
Sure. You can roll a little performance check. So, unless anyone has any conversations they'd like to do or any actions they'd like to take, shall we just fast forward through the morning and make our way back to town?
Yep.
Make
Yes.
it right, ding up my instrument. It's out of tune, just slightly.
Alright. Rascal spends some time tuning his instrument while Cirrus kind of shuffles through and gets a good few more bundles of the flowers. He packs up the mule, and with your help now with the heavy wagon, you have to kind of lift and maneuver it through the pass. But you've managed to get it there. Unfortunately, you lose... That's not so bad. You lose one of the bundles of flowers. It accidentally got knocked off the top and the wagon wheel ran over it. So those flowers are now no longer able to be used, but there's only a few in there.
Hold up.
Yes?
I have mage hand? Can I catch you with mage hand?
You can attempt to catch them yourself, but mage
Okay, I'll
hand
try- I'll-
requires you to cast a spell and you wouldn't have enough time to do that. So roll me a dexterity check.
Okay, good old-fashioned dict. I just didn't know if I was too far away to do it myself. Oh no, not of that.
Unfortunately not. It's like
Rats.
these are all kind of like lifting and maneuvering this while the mule is just not having fun. And sadly, you weren't quick enough to save the flowers. So, let's move screens. You just make your way back. As again, it is a pretty far distance you have to go, but with the mule hauling the wagon and with Cirrus riding the mule, you actually make pretty decent time. As the poor little teenage boy, who's unfit, doesn't need to stop every half hour to take a little break. So, you make it back to the city. I would say pretty close to noon.
God damn it, I have appointments.
Mm-hmm. So, you make your way through the gate, back on through the streets that are bustling with the lunchtime crowd. You hear the criers calling out messages, out the daily news. One of the snippets of news is that the fireball murderer had been caught and destroyed by the City Watch, with assistance from some unnamed individuals. But that's just snippets you hear as you walk past various criers. But eventually you get back to Trollskull Alley. Cirrus's demeanor kind of goes back to the grumpy teenager as he pulls up in front of his father's business.
That actually, does Mads notice that? Because Mads has a plan for this moment.
I would say sure.
Mads is sitting near Rascal. Is she near enough that she can whisper something to Cirrus?
If you slunter over, you could.
Yes, she would. She leans over to whisper to Cirrus. Because I was planning on this.
What do you whisper to dear old Cirrus boy? Don't corrupt the youth. Please don't corrupt the reef.
No. Trust me, it's okay. Never. I don't roleplay that. One moment.
I have to take the interviews. The potential barkeeps are going to be here fairly soon.
So I'm guessing
Mads-
you'll want to
Sorry.
go away from the group and tend to that while we talk things up with Mr. Penfold.
I think it would be best if I'm just across the street, so.
True, he is literally our neighbor.
So yes,
As you are approaching your business, you notice that there is actually a small halfling leaving your business with an empty basket. A quick conversation with her reveals that she is a member of the Launderers Guild, who has just placed your tablecloths in, as well as the spares in the kitchen, as well as the new sheets she's ordered. She's just basically giving you the delivery of that.
thank you very much.
So, the rest of yous, Cirrus, after hearing what Mads whispered, he kind of has like this little nervous smirk on his face. And, hello? I thought you were outside. How did you get back in? Why are you on the back of my chair again? Make up your mind.
Don't question.
Don't
As-
question the
as-
cat.
As Nostradamus once said, don't question the powers of darkness.
Well, she's a black cat, so she's the void. I'll tell you this, it's actually really unnerving when you wake up in the middle of the night and the darkness opens its mouth and meows at you. Anyway, so Penfold kind of looks a little proud with what you said. Not Penfold, feck. Cirrus looks kind of proud of what you said, but he immediately loses that pride as he kind of has to. You know, like, have you ever seen a child try and get off something high where they, like, put their legs down and, like, slide down, the little legs dangle until they reach the ground? Cirrus just kind of does that trying to get off the donkey, so any pride he had, he's now a little embarrassed as he fixes his robes. And he looks up at Mads and just kind of gives you, like, a little thumbs up. and
Mads returns the thumbs up and says, remember, we're all backing you up. You got this.
Yeah, I got this. Yeah. And he saunters into the business.
Mads,
Huh? What?
what's the plan here? What are you playing at?
I
want in on
was
the scheme.
Mads says, I was just boosting his confidence so that when he talks to his dad, he'll be confident. He'll be the returning hero, and we're gonna back it up, aren't we? Because he was.
He really was.
Okay. Well, as you
So
finish
there's
saying
no
the sentence,
scheme, sweetie.
Penfold himself comes wandering out of the shop, and he looks around the party and he just kind of beams. He's like,
Oh, good, you're back. I must say I got a little worried when Cirrus sent me that sending spell last night, but I'm glad that things went well. He seems rather chipper this morning. All right,
Did he tell you what? No, sorry, go ahead.
no, go on. You were gonna say.
Did he tell you about what he did?
He just told me he had got a back and that everything was outside. What happened? He didn't get in trouble, did he?
No, he was the hero of the night. He was the absolute hero.
What do you mean?
Well, while he was expertly gathering the flowers, we were visited by some wolves.
Wolves?
But wolves. There were. She looks back at the others. 6 of them, I think. Wasn't that right?
Yep, 6.
Cirrus faced them and cast a firebolt right down one of their throats. He was amazing. Perfect at doing the job.
You let him
And
fight! He's just a boy!
we didn't know. We did our best to defend the camp. But he wasn't having it. He pulled out his did he pull out a wand or did he just do it? I couldn't remember.
He
pulled out a
used
wand.
He pulled out a wand straight down the wolf's throat. It died on the spot. Your son is a hero. He saved all of us.
If he didn't have fur, you would see the color drain from Penfold's face. He just has that expression with, "Oh God, my kid was in danger." It's like,
Oh, well.
He's going to be modest about it, but he really did it. Sorry, go ahead.
I probably should have a word to him about that. Yeah.
He was the
and he's just like,
he was the hero. He was the hero of the night. But go easy on him because he's being kind of modest. He didn't want you to worry, and he didn't want to seem arrogant or self-impressed.
Mr. Penfold.
Oh, yes, yes.
Rest assured, your son did stay in the back as he was instructed.
Mhm.
We did not want
Yes.
to let him fight. But
We did
as
not.
I'm sure you noticed yesterday, I was in a rather poor state myself, and I could not handle the assault from the wolves as well as I would have liked. It was your son's intervention that saved my hide.
Mads points at Rascal, gestures toward him with two open hands, like, you see?
He knew it would make you uncomfortable knowing that.
Mads nods.
But you should know that your son really is a hero. I owe him
Enthusiastic nod.
Oh,
And
well, perhaps there's a conversation I can have with him in a little bit. But in the meantime, let's have a little look and see what's going on here.
he like clambers up on the side of the wagon and starts looking through the flowers. It's like every now and again he'll pick up one, go,
Oh, that's not quite right. I can't use that one, sadly.
he'll set it aside and goes,
Oh, well, he's done a very good job. Let's see how many's in here.
he just starts ruffling through, giving them a count and all that there, and the more he counts, the more he actually starts to look proud. There's a lot more here than he anticipated.
Yeah.
And he does look genuinely proud.
Mads
And
nudges
rather
Rascal
happy.
in the ear
Well, this is absolutely
with her
wonderful.
elbow.
Oh, this will be perfect for what I want to use it for. Right, well, I believe I promised you 500 gold pieces.
that was the agreement, sir.
All right.
And he reaches into his robe and pulls out this rather large sack. And he's like,
I'm sorry, there's a few platinum pieces in there as well. I didn't have all the gold, so there you go.
No worries.
Thank you so much.
I'm sure your little friend will enjoy that snack.
Oh, he will.
Well then, I believe I promised you assistance with the security system. So what I'll do is I'll gather the components, and if you'd like, I can come over either later this evening or tomorrow to do that for you.
Whenever it's convenient for you, right, Rascal?
Well, yes.
It would be after business hours.
Of course,
So
of
that's
course.
okay. And, well, let's just say, for this amount, my goodness, you saved me a mint with this, I must say. I'm more than willing to extend a discount for any enchanting services for a little while, at least. But I thank you very much. Now then, I need to get this in. Serious?
he like turns around, like starts calling his son, and Sears kind of, after a while, he's like slumps back outside, and they start passing the bundles to each other and getting it into into the shop.
No mention of the wolf, huh?
But you do hear, as you start to move away, you do hear Penfield going,
I've been told some things about when you were away. We'll have a conversation about this later.
Dad, it wasn't that important, really.
I would like to know from your words here, boy.
Oh, Dad.
That's why Mads was like, don't let him be too humble.
Boy, I can't wait to hear how what good intentions are going to backfire horribly later on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
There's a campaign 16 years after this one where Cirrus is the lead villain.
My dad never loved me. He never appreciated anything I did for him.
We tried to tell him to let you breathe!
Like a 200-year-old lich necromancer rat folk, and he still has the teenage squeaky voice. Off in the distance.
I'd leave Waterdeep for like 100 years, and this is what I come back to.
Yes.
So, you make your way back to the tavern. As you get sort of cleaned up, because you are clattered in soot and ash. So you go in and you start cleaning yourselves up. So just let me get you on the map. You know, because I'm that smart. I'm just going to bring these in. You can arrange yourselves to your liking. Yep, you can do that. I would say this is after baths, if you want.
Yes, please.
As you all come downstairs, you notice that Captain Vizan is near the doorway, and he seems to be reading a notice.
Mads immediately walks over toward Captain Vizan. What's up, Fizzy?
As you approach, you notice that there is actually a small serpent just kind of looped around his neck. And on the serpent are
pretty.
tiny wings.
Is that a new pet? That's pretty.
Not quite a pet, my dear. More a messenger. It seems that someone has dropped my name, so I'm going to make myself scarce.
Probably for the best. But you mean right now? Wait, you mean right now you're leaving?
For now, I think it's better that we don't associate your wonderful business with my name.
Is he?
You know, you're on the papers.
Not officially.
That's true. Captain Vizan joined our partnership after we signed out the papers.
Yes.
Busy. If you have to go, if you have to go. You've never let me give you a hug. Can I hug you goodbye?
No.
It would mean so much to me.
No. We're not at that stage in our friendship. But I'll be back. In the meantime,
I understand.
Perhaps you can help out a friend for me.
Of course.
Just for argument's sake, Ali is upstairs.
Then get off my... I have an associate. Her name is Isrid Hall. She's looking for somewhere to lie low. And she's hoping she can stay here. While she is a member of our organization, she is not a known member of our organization. But she would still like to lay low in a place that she wouldn't normally associate with. she's willing to pay for the privilege. I'll just leave this information with you.
And he hands a notice to Rascal. And
Okay.
with that, he kind of lifts his tiny bundle of possessions and looks around and says,
Well, I must say I am rather sad to leave. I'll be back in a little while. I'll be keeping a watch. Good luck, my friends. Try not to burn anything else down.
he looks at Mads. And Faizan gives you all a little half salute and heads out the door.
Yeah.
Mads is still pouting as he goes, and she does a little one-handed up above by her head wave.
Okay.
I'm sure that once he has several 100,000 gold to his name, he'll be more willing to return that hug, Mads.
Maybe. But in any case, what are we doing next?
Well, that remains to be seen. I
Well,
believe Ashford has interviews to conduct.
well, if you want to be there as well, I'm more than happy to have you judge our potential bartenders as well.
I mean, it'd probably be for the best. My name is on the establishment, after all. Can't say I'm familiar with how these things work, though.
Don't you worry about it. I'm fairly certain it's no really difficult task for you. You are, after all, a natural-born leader.
Are you flattering me, or are you being serious?
Why not
I
both?
believe you're trying to seduce me. But
You
yeah,
see,
Rascal.
when you feel like that, I believe it. So, there you go. Thank you, Ashford.
Don't you worry about it. If necessary, I'll just steer the conversation in the right direction.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want my guys' help too?
I'm fairly certain that Rascal wouldn't want you anywhere but by his side.
I know how to ask the tough questions.
We're not interrogating, we're interviewing for a job.
Those are tough questions too.
Oh, Mads, I got the perfect job for you.
What's that?
Well, you say that the eyes are like the window to the soul, or something like that.
They are the soul.
Well, there you go. I want you to look into their souls and give me your impression on them.
Mads is thoughtful for a second and says, "You probably don't want me to scare them, though, right?
No.
Ideally.
That is harder, but I will give it my best." You see, when people are scared, their eyes are usually they open wide. If they're using their eyes, they get wide. Makes it easier to tell who's who.
I think I see someone coming.
The door kind of tilts open because public house door, and you notice this gentleman.
Whoop.
Lord Fairwind.
Oh, Lord Fairwind.
Feels like it's been forever since we've seen you.
Hello, my friends. It's good to see you all again.
I trust you're here for the fair Lady Hunter.
Mads waves and runs over to Hunter really quick and runs over and whispers to Hunter.
Lord Fairwind, he seems to be in a more casual dress. It seems not entirely a worker's clothes, but nothing that would be worn on the upper crust. It's more it's decent quality material. There's no embroidery on it. And he's also wearing some hard-wearing riding trousers. But other than that, he seems to have scrubbed himself up. He is still wearing small dark gloves, though. Ashford,
All right.
if you want, you can roll yourself a little perception check.
Super duper quick. Precipitating Hunter clean. Like crazy.
I would say advantage
Meanwhile,
with that Ashword. You notice that there are several patches on his tail and his paws where there's no fur, and there is the fragile flesh of healing burns. His whiskers are also singed. But sorry, I interrupted you, Icy. What were you gonna say, Icy?
so say, meanwhile, Hunter's screaming internally because she doesn't want to be seen like this.
Well, I would say this was after you took the time to clean yourselves up.
Oh, okay. No precipitation required.
Yeah. After
Well-
that.
Well, sir, I can't help but notice that you have seem to have had a little incident with a bit of fire.
Yes. Well, I'm sure you're
The
aware of
wildfire
those.
still going on?
Not in the area of my properties, no. But it was a pretty close call with some of my areas. My men and I fought pretty hard to ensure that we didn't lose as much of our crops as possible. But sadly I got too close a few times.
Hunter, I think this is the best moment to slip out and change if you want to. Ashford's gonna keep him busy.
Well, please take a seat while we wait for the fair lady Hunter.
Oh, yes, well, of course. The stairs to upstairs are here.
Well, I'm
So unless you want to slip out the back door and scale
he is pulling up this chair. Please take the seat. Take this seat.
Oh, thank you.
I'm most grateful, and I will send word, Lady Hunter, that you have arrived to pick her up.
That would be most appreciated, my friend. So he does now have his back to the door. If you want to try and sneak past, you can roll a stealth check to hide from your date.
I was gonna say, make an athletics check to hop over the bar, hide behind the bar, and then sneak upstairs.
Sure, go for it.
Come on.
If you really want to, go for it.
No. Because I don't trust my dice rolls today. For some odd reason.
Yeah, Lord Fairwind seems to be looking around this alcove, which has now nice wood paneling and a few paintings that weren't there before. They're now there, and he seems to be taking this in. And he's more focused on Ashword and the new decor, to notice Hunter just basically doing the cartoon Tom sneak across the room. It just slips up the stairs and just bolts up the stairs.
What was that?
I'd say as Hunter goes up, Ali's coming down.
Alright. You see a frazzled looking Hunter scurrying up the stairs.
She's not going to say anything, she just kind of... She's basically just got the vest and the trousers on again. She's taking the jacket off.
So, am I gonna have to insight Hunter to see if she actually intends on coming back down, or is she, like, trying to hide?
You can roll insight if you want.
Yeah, I do. I ship this.
I think everyone here does.
Ship
Yeah.
this.
22.
We are shipping it like DHL.
Alright, I would say with that. Hunter, what is your intentions?
She is going to come back down. She just doesn't want to. She just doesn't really want him to see her at the moment.
Oh, good. Good. He doesn't have to come dragging down then.
No, it's only Squish that has to be forced into that. He's
the
my
image of
uncle.
a tiny kobold trying to drag down this giant tabaxi woman who's like clawing at the wall, like, no! It makes me titter.
So,
Meanwhile, upstairs, Hunter is frantically cleaning her face.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile, at the Legion of Doom.
There's no Legion of Doom yet. So Hunter is currently upstairs making herself presentable. Lord Fairwind is glancing around as Alia comes downstairs. That draws his attention. He starts looking around the rest of the building. I must say, this has been fantastic progress. The place is looking marvelous.
I would thank you very much. It would not have been possible without the hard work of the individuals who restored the place to this state, though.
Yes.
I mean, you have to honor the workers because they put in the hard labor. We're just, in a sense, we are benefiting from them.
Yes, I share the same opinion of my farmhands. I will tell you that. A lot of them deserve more than they are currently paid in the former owners.
Also, you took over some farms after the terrible incident.
Yes. Luckily, thanks to the efforts of my men, we were able to save most of my crop and my warehouses. Well, I say warehouses. A barn where I stored some of my material. A lot of my competitors lost theirs, so to my shock, there was a bidding war over my raw materials. And I managed to sell them for quite a tidy sum, and with a lot of my former competitors looking to sell some of their land to recoup some of the costs, it was a rather easy purchase.
Well, it seems that fortune has brought it to you, and I can't think of someone who's better suited for this duty.
Yes, well, this past few days I've been touring my new properties, and let's just say there's some foremen who are currently out of a job. Vicious brutes. But anyway.
Yes?
He's kind of looking around. Miss Hunter, she hasn't talked about this, has she? She hasn't mentioned anything about me? Said anything?
I know that the two of you are intending to go on a little bit of a time spent together, a rendezvous.
Jurnis,
Yes.
does Rascal hear this from where he is now?
With those ears, yes.
It's not like we're trying to whisper.
Yeah, pretty
I was
much.
going to say, while this is going on, Ali is doing like the bouncer examination of him.
Fair enough. If
You
you
like-
want, you can roll an insight on him.
Believe me, Lord Fairwind, this has been all she's been looking forward to for the past couple days. Anything that's been threatening to get in the way of it has really pissed her off. So yes, this means a lot to her.
Oh my! Like tugging at his collar.
Oh, you'll do fine.
Alia,
Yeah,
he looks really nervous.
To be honest, sir, you seem to be one of the most honorable members of the higher society.
Yeah, you don't need to put on a show for Hunter. She likes you the way you are, for yourself.
You can see his ears are kind of like twitching as he gives you a very lopsided grin. If tabaxis could sweat, you'd be like, ah.
Yeah, Ellie's still getting like that bounce, looking up and down, sort of.
Rascal, I think there's actually a bottle where the cork is not fully put in. It's the bottle from which I left with you last time you came over.
Oh. I think I got it. Plink. We have a couple of glasses.
Yeah, they're under the bar.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much everything's fully stocked now. There are glasses, tankards, mugs, both ceramic and wooden. There's just an array of cutlery and mugs and shelves and all behind the bar. So it's very easy to put your hand on some wine and mugs.
Yeah. Get two of our nicest. And put them down on the table. I know you're nervous, but we've all got you back. You're both gonna have a wonderful night.
You know, Rascal, if we don't find a good barkeep, I think I know someone who would be suited for this in addition to being a bard.
Oh, I'll probably need a little ladder if it comes to that.
I don't think that will be a difficult thing.
Yeah, Rascal's eyes just barely reach the top of the counter. So.
Alright, let's start doling out these 8 points of inspiration.
Small boys.
Yeah.
Are you inspiring the Lord?
Yes. It's not he needs it.
Don't think he really does.
He like picks up the wine glass and says, "Well, nothing like a little bit of dwarven courage," and just sinks it back. Hunter, you probably hear and see that as you come back downstairs.
Oh, you picked up the Shiraz. Very nice.
He makes her way down, past Rascal.
Your lord awaits, my lady.
As he hears Rascal say that, Lord Fairwind kind of turns and hastily gets to his feet. And it's like, "Oh, my Lady Swiftpaw, it's wonderful to see you again." And he gives you a little half bow.
She curtsies to him. It's good to see you too. I hope your journey here wasn't too stressful.
Entirely uneventful, my dear. Although, to be fair, I was distracted to the point where I probably wouldn't have noticed.
That's good.
He like looks around awkwardly for a bit, and you can see him like trying to rub his palms on his trouser legs, like through the gloves. And then he's like, "Well, I've arranged for a few options for us. We could perhaps go for a meal. I have also gotten tickets to a show, if you'd prefer to a little bit of theatre. I also do have horses, if you'd prefer to go for a ride."
Well, we can't let those tickets go to waste. Let's go to the show. Just like
Wonderful,
blushing.
wonderful. Well then, my lady, and he holds out the crook of his arm.
Of course, you finished speaking right as I have a mouthful of food.
Alright.
First, you, universal timing.
Show's gonna be great.
She blushes and locks arms.
Okay.
Ashwood holds open the door and bows deeply.
Lord
I
Fairwind
wish...
has a fixed smile on his face, but his eyes are wide, and he's like internally screaming, "Ah!"
I hope that the time will be most pleasant.
Oh, don't
Oh,
we
we're
all?
going to-
Don't we all?
We're going to have a wonderful time. I'll
Rascal.
see you all. I'll see you all later.
Oh, we'll see you after you have a
Don't be too
unfulfilling
hasty.
time.
Don't be too hasty with your return. spending time with someone like him is always good for you.
Follow your instincts. They'll see you true. I know it.
It's a great show. Leave your
Mads,
hours.
Mads, meanwhile, is biting her tongue visibly.
Oh no.
So I just want to make clear I'm also giving Hunter a point of bardic inspiration for her date.
No, Mads isn't going to talk. She's just holding her tongue.
And off they go.
Yep.
And away they go.
Yay.
To hear the kobold sing.
Yeah.
Can you hear the kobold sing? I don't know why I chose that song.
Because I also chose that song and wrote an entire alternate version of it that I never ended up using for my campaign.
I'll probably record it at some point. So,
Nice.
Lord Fairwind escorts you out into the street and takes a moment to kind of look around, and you see just the mild moment of panic, like, oh shit, where are we going? Oh, right, this way. He's like, this way, my dear. And he leads you a little further south, almost to the edge of the North Ward. And as he's going, he's basically explaining that the show isn't due to start for another few hours, so he offers to take you to a little cafe for some sweet treats, some cakes.
Hunter accepts.
Okay. So he takes you to this adorable little outdoor cafe that has like the little French frills tablecloths. You notice that there are a number of people sitting around here. There are a few couples, some looking rather formal, others going way overboard with the public displays of affection. Seeing one of those couples, Lord Fairwind just averts his eyes, looks straight ahead, like, But he pulls out a seat for you. Once you're seated, then he seats himself and starts looking over the menu. And by this point, you can roll yourself an insight check.
And like, if I can actually. I'm too flustered.
You're pretty much, yeah, you're too flustered. It's the two elves on the next table over who have just gone full on publicly inappropriate making out, and it's just like, oh my god, stop. It's just kind of throwing you off a little bit.
That happens when you do public mouth to mouth.
You're barely sitting for a few moments, and this little gnome with hair bigger than she is comes tittering over with a tiny apron and a little tray. He's like,
Hello, what can I get for you, darlings?
Lord Fairwind looks to you and says, well, my dear, it is my treat, so you can order whatever you'd like. I'll have, and he turns and orders himself this little tart, along with a hot drink of coffee.
Yes, I also would talk about Hunter.
Huh?
I'll explain later.
He ordered himself a tart, and he said that's not a nice thing to say about Hunter.
Oh. Hunter kind of, well, for the first time looking at the menu, because she too, with the elf, she was just kind of not really looking at the menu, just kind of staring a hole through it.
There's lots of tarts, cakes, cupcakes, crepes, as well as a series of both hot and cold drinks, juices, like apple juice, orange juice, coffee, tea, a beverage called cocoa.
I'll have the tea cakes and a cup of cocoa.
Alright, the little gnome just kind of nods and scurries off and disappears between the table after taking the menus off you. And Lord Fairwind just kind of starts looking around. And after a moment, he's like, he just like starts scratching at his neck. And then he takes a moment and finally turns and says, so how have you been these past few days? Yes.
Oh, well, where do I start? Oh, these last few days have just been... Oh, a roller coaster. Oh, we got tasked with finding a sentient machine. And that's a... And she just starts going on about the nimble right and everything that happened and how our poor little kobold stupidly went off on his own, telling nobody until it was too late. And almost got himself killed.
Let's see, for Lord Fairwind's just like his eyes are wide. He's like, oh, well, I'm glad to see the young fellow's alright. Sounds terrifying.
Yes. Luckily, according to him, before he faced the Nimberite, he talked to some of the local kobolds in the area, and thanks to them, they decided to go back and check on him. And were able to stop the thing before it killed him.
Yes, well, that's the collective for you. Always looking out for the other kobolds in the area. That reminds me, I should contact the collective. But that's a matter for another day.
Yes, we now owe them a round of drinks on the house.
Oh, well, are you sure your tavern could stand up to the amount of boisterous kobolds? Joyous little fellows.
Oh, it's only one drink. Domestic only, nothing imported.
You say that?
You know they'll just give you those cute little eyes and you can't say no to them. Especially if Rascal and or Mads is on the bar.
That's no, that's a line from the first Deadpool movie.
I'm aware. I just wanted to add to the joke. Oh dear. So he's talking about that for a little while, and he starts telling you, basically what he's been doing over the past few days is he has been finalizing the paperwork and taking the deeds of quite a number of new lands and properties, and he spent the last few days essentially touring, trying to get a consensus of the workers, the property, the resources, the assets, and he actually goes off on a bit of a rant about one particular foreman, and the way he starts talking about it, how he slipped in his usual garb, which he looks a little ashamed to admit is not as prestigious as it should be. He slipped in under the guise of being a worker and witnessed firsthand of how vicious and cruel this foreman could be. And after surveying the area for a bit, he revealed himself to be the new owner and ensured that the foreman was chased from the yard and fired. And he seems to take great pleasure in informing you that his oldest friend, the first person he ever hired on his first farm, is now the foreman of that area.
Hunter sits there and listens, letting him talk. Kind of also staring into his eyes. Well, no, not so much staring, but looking.
After he finishes his rant, he kind of notices this, and his whiskers start doing that little nervous twitch, and his ears are... the insides are slowly starting to turn bright pink as the blood fills them. And he gives you like a subtle little smile. He's like, well, I suppose I better went a little bit of a rant on there.
Oh, don't worry about it. I kind of did myself telling you about my week, didn't I?
Yes, well, it is always nice to have someone to rant to, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Ooh.
It's good to get it out. Trust me, if I had the time to sit here and tell you about some of the bigger stories of my past, I could rant about some idiots for days.
Yes, well, it's just an easy topic to rant about, usually, is the idiots.
But unfortunately, you know what they say.
Oh,
There will
what's
always
that?
be idiots. Always be idiots, because even if you make something idiot-proof, they will invent a better idiot.
I like that phrase. I could apply that phrase in many places. What the hell's going on? Anyway. So while you were talking, you have eaten your cakes and your coffee. The gnome comes around, offers you a top up of your drinks. Lord Fairwind checks the time and takes a second coffee, and offers you a second drink of your choice.
Hunter takes a second cocoa and continues talking.
At this point, would you like to roll another insight?
Sure, let's see how distracted I am now.
Okay. As you get talking to him, as you realize that he is enjoying your stories, you start to ease up a little bit, you start to relax, and you can now start to see that he's also doing the same thing. When you first sit down, he was very stiff-shouldered, very upright. But now, his posture's kind of eased, he looks a little bit more relaxed, he's got this more of a subtle smile on his face than the big fixed grin, and his eyes are no longer wide and panicked. He seems genuinely happy. But you talk for some time, and after waving off a third round of drinks, he stands, offers his hand to help you to your feet.
She, of course, accepts it.
Okay. He sets down the payment for the food and the drinks. Would you like to roll a quick perception check? He has left a very, very generous tip. But he starts to lead you a little bit further south towards the Wide. You remember that this was the area you went to for the opera. And in fact, a few streets over, you can see the dome of the Grand Opera House, but he leads you to a smaller theatre. This seems to be, for lack of a better word, more humble. Whereas the Grand Opera House's grand facades of marble and statuary and golden filigree, this one is more rough and tumble wood.
So what you're saying, Jurnis, is it's off Bardway?
Yes, it's off Bardway, yes. It still looks to be a relatively respectable establishment, just more for the common people, more for the working class. And that does appear to be the crowd. There are people around here dressed similarly to you and Lord Fairwind. Some are in working clothes. Others are in what would just be the medieval equivalent of white collar clothing. Simple suits such as that. But after a little while of milling around and awkward conversation, because Lord Fairwind can't focus on a topic, as you're currently hooked onto his arm, you eventually are led inside. You have yourselves a decent seat on the upper balcony where you can see the stage. And what follows is one of the most hilarious shows you have seen in a long time. And not because it was a comedy.
Oh.
The acting is terrible.
You went to community theater.
Like a so good it's bad, or so bad it's good performance.
Pretty much.
I was getting ready to sing as well.
You've gone to what is the equivalent of a local pantomime, but there are some people who are laughing loudly at things that aren't actually supposed to be the jokes. The actors seem to be rolling with it as best they can, but the writing is terrible. The stage direction is woeful, and at one point one of the scenery pieces just kind of falls over. But everyone seems to be enjoying it.
It appears this tree is made from wood.
Pretty much. During one of the larger dancing numbers, there's a fellow dressed as a cow who just manages to trip over his own costume and spends half the dance number trying to get up. But you get a good laugh. And as did Lord Fairwind beside you, you can hear him have a pretty loud belly laugh.
Yeah, Hunter's doing the same. She's trying to be respectful because she knows they're trying, but she just can't hold it back.
You would see just off the court, from your elevated position, just off the stage on the left-hand side, you can see a guy. It's just this human who looks like he's tearing his hair out, and he's got like, this roll of paper cut in his hand that you assume is the script, and he's just like, ugh. When the cow trips over, he just walks away.
Just throws it in the air and walks away.
It's just like throws the script down and just storms off. But the show ends after about an hour and a half, and you're milling your way out. And Lord Fairwind is just like wiping some moisture away from his eyes. He's like, "Oh, my dear, I must apologise for the quality of the show, although it was rather amusing."
Oh, yes, it was. I haven't laughed like that in a long time.
Oh, this is why I prefer these types of shows instead of that hoity-toity opera.
So did these blokes, and she doesn't know which one her father is.
What?
Mamma mia.
Alright. He starts laughing and says, Oh, I knew the fella who wrote this. he thought himself to be some great playwright. Oh, I knew he wouldn't last long, but it's good to see that he tried.
Oh, indeed. Oh, they may not have thought it a good show, but I did.
Oh, well. We'll see how he reacts to it, whether he'll lean into it and say it was a comedy after all, or he'll throw a tantrum and demand to be taken seriously, but we'll see.
I mean, the scene where he came on stage and said, "Oh, hi, doggy," was a little bit weird.
Fantasy Tommy Wiseau, is that you?
Oh my god! Oh my god! Can we
Hunter.
make it that now?
kind
Can
of
we
what?
not-
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
The pantomime.
Just to the hell of it, he's from Holborn.
You know what? Sure. If you really wanted it, it could be a pantomime version of The Room. It's supposed to be a serious drama, but instead was just a comedy of errors and bad writing. Which makes it even more the confusing of the fella who was in the cow costume.
Yeah.
It just came out of nowhere. There's
Yeah,
just one
that
scene
scene
in a forest
clearly
where the
was-
dialogue seems out of
I
order.
did not milk her. I did not.
Now Tommy was so really can be a vampire.
Apparently one of the lead musicians was this halfling fellow, and no one's seen him for a little while. Very odd.
Mm.
So he's walked about a street or so away from the crowd who are just blasting the show. But Lord Fairwind kind of slows his pace and glances over towards you and says, well, I suppose the choice is now, if you would like for me to escort you home, or perhaps we could go for a longer walk, just the two of us.
I'm down for. I'd like that.
Oh.
Well, there's quite a lovely park, just a few streets over this way. I think that would be quite pleasant. And you see a little genuine smile just kind of creeping onto his face as he starts leading the way towards the park. And by this stage now, evening is starting to draw in. There's a soft pinkish light as the sun just starts its descent towards the horizon. And the two of you just walk around the park, mostly in a comfortable silence, but you do share a few things about your past, getting to know each other a little bit better. And that's where we'll leave those two for the moment.
Meanwhile, back at the manor.
Meanwhile.
At the Batcave.
So,
Da-da-da.
Hunter and Fairwind have departed. Ashford and Rascal practically slammed their faces against the turret watching them walk down the street.
Yeah.
How did it go, Barry Bunny? What happened?
You know that thing in the sitcoms where someone goes off on a date and just everyone's just like up against the window or leaning around the door frame watching
Yeah.
them? That's kind of what you are all doing.
I dream of cheese. I have found my farm.
Ah.
You're all terrible. Alright.
That's layups for you.
Yeah. So, Ashford, you're watching your companions, your fellow party member and her new companion walk down the street. Both their tails and ears are flickering nervously, but they round the corner, and now you are back to yourselves.
Well, I hope the date is going to be going well.
Oh, I know it's gonna go just fine. They're practically made for one another.
Mads gets lost in Rascal's eyes as she looks over at him. Yeah, I know what that's like.
I know the feeling too, sweetie. So, how much longer till these interviews of yours, Ashwood?
Yeah.
They should be here. Well, the first one probably will be here any minute now.
Now, here's a question. Rascal, would you like me to be myself? Or should we see how they treat and like a cat or a dog or something?
Oh.
You know, we have plenty of cats around already.
Yeah, but they're
slip into the crowd.
yeah, that's a good idea. Then I could maybe like hop up on them briefly and see how they react to a surprise.
That actually is not the worst idea, my dear.
Yeah, I'm okay.
You can certainly see how someone judges character by how they do that.
Yes, it's always good to have the ability to tell how they act when things are different from what they expect.
Mads runs away for a moment, and then she is gonna. I assume we got a long rest.
You did, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. She's gonna turn into her bristly, church-like, mottled cat form.
And Ashford, I'm counting on your experience for this, buddy.
I'm fairly certain it will go over smoothly.
Just in case, I'm giving Ashford my last point of bardic inspiration. For insight checks.
Yeah, of course.
Just on top of game, I will say that Lord Fairwind used your bardic inspiration.
Ah, fantastic. I knew it'd come in handy for the lad.
Yeah.
Okay, so.
Also,
Yes, go on.
I was gonna say, I just imagine this whole thing being like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine IT person interviews with Gina.
Oh yeah. So
I used to kind of duck down behind the bar and just kind of sit on the floor.
okay.
Just presume Mads is prowling around randomly until I actually have her. I love the little token. Mads actually goes over toward Alia and does the leg crisscross, or tries to.
She's sat on the floor, so
Then a headbutt on the knee.
I just kind of looks at you and you're just trying to play shit at this point.
Roll a quick intelligence check, Alia. Damn. You go to pet the cat and then realize, wait, that's not one of the tavern cats. And then you recognize some of the markings. It's like,
You say Alia wouldn't go to pet the cat. She'd just be staring at it.
Alright, well, your usual disdain then. But you realize that this is not in fact one of the tavern cats, it is your party member.
Well, I wouldn't say it's disdain, more just she would just be wondering why there's a cat coming up to her.
Well, there's like 6 cats in the tavern right now. Not including Mads. Speaking of, I'm just going to point out as well. Ashford, remember how you got your linens and pillows delivery?
Yes.
There's a few cat beds at the furnace.
Oh.
I actually thought of that. That is most adorable.
Are they
He's like-
occupied?
Yes.
Yay!
There is one cat, less a cat, more a kitten. Little tabby grey, whose favourite spot is just here on the edge of the bar counter.
Oh,
He's there.
love it.
But you do have just a small series of tavern cats, and you have been noticing that they're keeping the vermin away from your property.
Excellent.
Nice.
So, at the door, as you peek through the window, you notice that there is this short, stout dwarf.
Oh,
Almost as wide as he is tall. He has huge shoulders, but most of his mass appears to be his gigantic beard and grizzled mane of hair.
Nice.
As he's waiting outside, he's got like this piece of paper in his hand, and he's like looking down and squinting at the paper while the door is still closed.
Ashwood opens the door. Are you here for the job interview?
So tempted to be Escobar, but no.
Your lungs can't
aye.
handle it.
Aye, I am. Aye.
Please, come
My
in.
name's Bjorn Bronstout. He like holds out his meaty fist.
Ashwood takes it and gives him a strong handshake. Do we have to go for a strength check?
Roll me a strength save.
Oh god.
Alright. You feel his strong grip envelop your fingers, but not to the point where it crushes you, and he gives you one of those big, like, full-armed handshakes so that your arms just like... So he's like, nice to meet you. Shall we? Do you want me to come in, or are we doing it on the doorstep? Because I've done that
No,
before.
please come in.
Right, I'm in. Hello, little fella. Hi. He like looks over to Rascal and like, hi.
Good morning, sir. Trust you're here for the interview.
Oi. Guildmaster said that you're looking for a new bartender. Aye.
Yes,
That
we
we
are. So please, take a seat.
Indeed.
Alright, aye. Sit down. Aye.
Make yourself comfortable.
Like pulls
So-
out a chair and hops down. Takes a moment to like make sure that his beard isn't pinched when he sits down. And
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
myself, well, not really much to tell. Born and raised in the city. I've worked in a few establishments like this. Last one went out of business, so I'm looking for new work.
And you are aware that this is a completely new business now, seeing that this place has been unoccupied for quite a while.
I'm aware, aye.
Given your years of expertise, why would you choose to go with a bunch of newcomers instead of trying at least an established place of your employ?
Well, to be honestly fair, I've applied all around. A job's a job, and it's a job.
How well are you versed in beverage, in drinks, and at least selling the food? I know you. I'm not expecting you to make the food after all. You're the bartender. You're not kitchen staff.
No, you don't have to put me on the chef line. If you have me in the kitchen, all you'll get is charcoal.
And Ashwood takes the bottle that's still on the table. So what can you tell me about this wine?
That there is a red wine, my friend. It'll go well with meat. Red meat dishes.
Do you have any training talking about wines, or did you mostly deal in ales and the like?
I was a cake slinger.
Mostly a cake slinger.
I used to work in a dwarven tavern, so it was all ale and mead. Not very many wine drinkers among that crowd.
I understand that, but of course you should try at least to know a little bit about wines. Ultimately,
I'm sure that's something you can learn on the job.
then again, yes, as you say, you can learn a little bit on the job.
It's always worth learning something.
So, as you have a lot of experience, how would you deal with a difficult customer? someone who said a little bit too much. To drink.
At that moment, Mads chooses to try to jump up on the guy's lap. He's sitting, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, she tries to jump up on his lap, like just bump.
Alright. He hops up and he does that thing where you're surprised and the arms just go up. He just kind of does that and he looks down and he goes, "Oh, you have a kitty. Hello, little kitty." And he just does a little awkward pat on your head, but he's keeping one hand away as you're an unknown animal and he doesn't seem to know how to take you. He's like, "Hello, kitty."
Yes, we have quite a few cats around here. They tend to keep the
Mads,
So you
and Mads curls up in his lap.
Oh no, it's getting comfortable. And he's kind of looks to Rascal and Asher and says, I don't want to disturb it.
That's alright, I got it. Rascal would take Cat Mads and put her on his lap.
Mads
Okay.
curls up and purrs loudly.
He rubs the fur off his thighs. He's like, "Affectionate wee beastie."
And that's what cats can be. They can also be rather beastie, but seems like she doesn't think of you as someone to scratch.
Well, that's good at least. It's just a cute wee thing, but I'm more of a dog person myself.
It's understandable. It is understandable, my friend.
And
what are you looking for?
Mads is looking to see trying to perceive what his mood or what his demeanor is.
Okay.
And it was sorry.
Your points startled him, and you get the impression that he's not used to cats. As he said, he's more of a dog person. He wasn't annoyed with you, but he also wasn't that happy that this random cat was now on his lap. It's along the lines of, I would never harm a creature, but I don't like it. So it's just like, okay, good kitty.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and now Mads is curled up and just not part of this thing for the rest of it. She's over with Rascal.
She's done her part.
Yeah, it never hurt the cat, but he wouldn't go out of his way to be nice to it either.
Neutral is fine.
what it looks like in player chat, so
So, again, how would you deal with someone who's had a bit too much to drink?
It depends on the reputation you're trying to keep. If you're looking for a rough and tumble reputation, then I'll just punch him in the nose. If you're looking for a more genteel, and he just gives this big grin, and you see he's got a line of broken teeth. He's like, if you're looking for a more genteel reputation, I suppose I'd escort him out nicely. Or if you're looking to get security, inform the bouncers.
That is good to hear. And of course, there's always the rather unfortunate question, how much would you expect us to pay you?
Crap.
Wasn't there a fixed rate and it's just
there's a fixed rate and it's
overall
covered.
Alright. Scratch that question.
I'll just go with the guild rate. That's fair for me. If you
Alright.
want to offer bonuses on top of that, I'll not say no, but I'll just stick with the guild rate.
Well, we will see about that. You probably know that a lot of places are looking into multiple people, interviewing more than one person, and they're trying to find someone who's best fitting the group that's already there.
Oh, aye. That's fair enough, But, do you know how long till you let me know?
It shouldn't be too long, given that it's fairly tight-knit group of owners that is running this place, and
Yeah.
you're talking to two of them.
Oh,
Yes,
right,
we're
this
very-
one's the owner. I thought he
Yes,
was
he is one of the owners. I am one of the owners, and two of the owners should be around here somewhere. Two others, but never mind.
Three
I
and
thought he
took
was
some
going to say
moments
the
up and
cat is
look
one of the
around.
others.
No, I'm not going to say that. If I say the cat is one of the owners, he would consider me completely bonkers.
I'm my good dwarven friend. I am the Rascal in Rascal Skyreach. Rascal's Rendezvous. Sorry. It's been
Yes.
quite a couple days.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Oh, that's your name.
yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking like rascals and scallywags.
No,
What?
no, it's actually a name.
But I had a bit of a
fair enough.
scallywag.
Sir, this is a respectable establishment.
Oh, food safety's gonna have a ball when they come in here. See cats everywhere. But anyway, there's no food safety in medieval time. Says, oh, right, fair enough. I'll make a note of that. I love how this dwarf
anyway.
is just wavering between Scottish and fucking Yorkshire.
I mean,
Scottish-
I'm
Scottish, Irish, and
wavering
Yorkshire.
between Scottish, Irish, and whatever the fuck the accent is that I'm using for Ashwood this week.
So the dwarf gives you like his big beam, and you could just see just a little line of broken teeth again between his giant mustache and beard. Like, it goes to stand up, and it holds out his hand to the two of yous again.
So hang on a sec. Did he say like why he left his previous job or
He said it closed down.
he closed down? Okay.
And that's what the application form actually said. But we would discuss this when he's not here.
Hmm.
Where do you see yourself in 5 years?
Probably still work in the bar, yeah. Maybe
Oh,
having
no,
a
I'm
bar
not-
of my own.
I swear, there's so many jobs I've wanted to just say, I don't know, I'm not a psychic.
Yeah.
That's
only
why
you
I'm not
could be
asking
honest.
that fucking question. Because I know that the question is completely bonkers.
Alright, let's give the
one
big
that always
dwarven,
got
the
me
dwarven man some
was-
big handshakes.
Yeah. The one that always got me was, what is your biggest weakness? I'm like, how the fuck are you supposed to answer that?
Yeah.
My go-to for that now is my memory. So, it's like, I have terrible issues with my memory, and that's why I have a notepad. I take notes of my work now, and it's like, okay. I formulated a big
I
bullshit
always-
answer for that.
My bullshit answer for that is oatmeal cookies.
That's yeah. I always try to not talk to. I mean, some take it the wrong way when you come with a bullshit answer. Some take every answer the wrong way. So
I just say it flat and serious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Oatmeal cookies.
Rascal,
I'd
do me a
love-
little favor and roll me a strength save.
Yep. Oh boy, this is gonna be
Yes,
great.
yeah.
Oh!
Oh no!
No, that's
Nice.
good.
Nice.
Good roll.
All right. So he reaches out and he just envelops your hand, and you can tell he's being careful with his grip because you're a small boy. So he's being careful,
Yeah.
and he doesn't give you such an arm rattling handshake. He gives you a more gentle one. But even then, you're able to hold your arm steady enough that you don't end up getting your shoulder like whipped around as per Ashford did.
Very good.
But even
come
then,
on, it wasn't that bad.
true. You were able to move with him, so you didn't get hurt. But you could tell he held back on Rascal. So
So we're doing the robot.
yeah. So he stands, gives you a little nod of the head, and turns and makes his way out after surveying the bar for a moment. He stomps out down the thing. You can see he does like a little hop, jump off the steps, and then disappears off down the street.
Mads reserve and jumps off of Rascal and starts doing the cross-legged walk between his legs.
He reaches down and gives you a little scritch. So, Astro, did it say on his application where he worked previously?
It does. It lists a establishment in the dock ward.
Yeah, he worked previously in the Dockwood, and from what I can tell, he worked mostly in the Dockwood, actually.
In a place called the Suzzled Smith.
The Suzzled Smith.
Ah, not familiar with that tavern. We went
Yeah,
into a
but-
couple around there, but not that one.
Alia, if you're listening in, you can roll a history check on this.
Yep, she would like to. Go on.
Come on, Alia.
To be honest,
Okay. Alia, you would know this place. It was a mostly dwarven tavern. It was one of those places where only locals would go there. It was built to the size requirements of races of lower stature. So humans, elves, genasi and such, they couldn't walk in here without constantly ducking down. So it was mostly rough and tumble dive bar. You know that it closed up recently because the owner got into a bit of a fight. The place got trashed when the fight just boiled over and he walked away.
Alia basically gives him that information.
Ah, got the vibe we had someone who could handle themselves, and I definitely know it to be true.
yeah, but and the question is if he's not bringing a little bit too much trouble with him. I mean, he seemed qualified enough, and I
Pardon me.
wouldn't mind seeing someone like him make it up the ranks, so to speak. So I'm willing to say that he's a good candidate, but to be honest, if he gets his teeth fixed, he's probably even going to have a much better time with a client with the hoity-toity types that come around here sometimes.
I don't know. Maybe we could finance that. I mean, Matt's got her teeth fixed up pretty good. I'm not sure.
Yes,
But what
I'm not sure that, but he seems like he would be a decent fit with the group.
I mean, pardon me for being blunt on the subject, but we are like deep in trouble ourselves, and well, if it comes to our tavern at some point, at least we need to have someone who we definitely know can hold their own. Protect the patrons and all that.
Yes. I mean, currently he's obviously number one on the list
He's the only one on the list.
because he's the only one on the list. But he's got a few advantages, of course. Oh, it looks like someone's here. And Ashwood opens the door. Hello. You're here for the job interview?
I am.
Please, come in, take a seat.
Stepping in the door now is this rather large half-orc. They take more to their orcish side than their human side.
Mm-hmm.
They are very big. They're about 6.5 feet, big shoulders. They're currently wearing a sleeveless shirt, so you can see they have huge, meaty arms. And he's got a few tattoos up and down the arms. His tusks, you can see, have been filed down. But he seems to have a permanent scowl on his face. Even as he's trying to look presentable, you can still see the frown lines. as
Oh,
he looks at the halfling and the kobold in front of him. If
My name is-
the interviews for barman.
Yes.
yes, indeed, my friend. Please make yourself comfortable.
He grabs the stool and he does the Riker move where he flips it around and sits down and leans on the back.
Impressive.
Well,
I always loved it when he did that.
He did it because his back was killing him. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah. That's what you get when the jumpsuit's two sizes too small. So please tell us a little bit about yourself.
he scratches this stubbly little beard as he looks around the establishment for a moment and he goes, I'm Jäger, a brewer. I've worked around brew houses most of my life.
Okay.
Let's just say I'm sick of being in the back.
So what did you have? Do you have any knowledge working as a bartender, or is this your pretty much your first job in, at least in city limits, I believe?
It's first job in city limits, yeah, but I did a little bit of ale slinging for the old boss whenever he had open houses at the brewery.
Okay. So you are most familiar with beers, ales, lagers, that kind of thing. So you wouldn't know anything
Ale.
about wines.
Not
Mostly,
wines, no, but mostly I would know a lot about ales.
Right. So you say you were sick by working in the back. So you were. What were you? What was your job before you decided to switch to bartending? Mostly you.
I was a hopman.
A hopman.
I turned the hops.
Okay. Okay. That is actually a very important job. I think it is maybe even the most important job to get the perfect balance in your beer.
If you
To
want,
have a
you
good
can
hopman.
roll a quick history check to see if you can figure out to remember what a hopman actually does.
I'm bullshitting my way.
Okay. You know what? I'll give it to you. A hopman is whenever the hops are laid out on the floor of a warehouse to start fermenting. And the hopman's job was to basically go along with a shovel and turn the hops. To keep the fermentation consistent. He literally shoveled stuff all day.
And so you worked open houses, you said,
Yeah.
as a barman.
Yeah. Mads, with you saying on the knee, is that you jumping up onto his knee now?
No, Mads was trying again. It says before that to nuzzle Alia on the knee.
Oh, okay.
The jump is coming. I'll let you know when.
So, what kind of clientele was usually at the brew house when you were having open houses, had beer tastings when you were working the bar?
It was usually the bulk buyers, ones from the guild. They would come and sample our wares, and if they liked it, they would recommend them to taverns. So I had to dress up all fancy like little bow tie. Didn't like the bow tie.
Well, I think we could actually forego the bow tie here, jeez. As you can see, by the way, this is Mr. Rascal Skyreach.
He just gives you like a passing glance, like, right.
And that's when Mads tries to jump up on the knee.
Oh God!
As you just get your paws on his knee, he kind of cups your head with his hand and pushes you to the ground.
Ooh!
Hit, turn, go hide behind Rascal.
Not
So,
a fan of cats, my friend.
Nasty little beasties.
That might be a bit of a problem. We have quite a few of them around the tavern.
Don't worry, I can chase them off.
Nah, they keep the place free of the vermin.
They're part of our charm.
And that, of course.
If you say so.
Ashworth gives Rascal a look as if to say, do we end it here?
Nods.
Again, thank you for coming here. We're going to have to interview a few more people, unfortunately. But we will get in touch very, very quickly when we have decided and... yes, we will be in touch.
Alright.
Sorry, you forgot to turn it on when you talked to him, and now you're just giving us the description of his activities.
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear that. What?
You just turned the voice changer on.
To describe the narration of him leaving.
Yeah.
It shouldn't.
And with that, he saunters off.
It shouldn't have come on.
It did.
It did.
Oh, it's fine now. It's off now.
No, it's fine, yeah.
I swear I have keyboard shortcuts for things, and sometimes I think they just get confused.
Mads makes no mind of hissing as he exits. Many hisses.
He just kind of glares back at the cat, just like, vicious little beastie. Okay, so he stomps his way out. He gives Ashford a gentle, tip of the head. Ignores Rascal.
Well,
Kind of an asshole.
just a bit.
Well, I mean, I've
I
heard
wanted
that.
to give him a chance, but his reactions were pretty telling.
Yes, he seemed to be in it only because he's bored.
Mads contributes her with a long Azrael series of complaint noises. Y'all know it.
Yes, Mads, we know. We know.
Rascal,
He's on spot number 5 on our list. We only interview 3 people.
too right. Hey,
I would
sweet.
rather run the bar myself than have him actually.
Agreed.
Sneeze.
He's never gonna get a front-facing position with that kind of attitude.
Yes, he might actually want to change his jobs completely. Maybe he would be better off working on a ship.
Eh.
But then again, what am I? Working at the unemployment office?
Wonder if Waterdeep has a one.
Given that the guilds are organizing stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if they have job fairs and the like.
Yeah, it's called prison.
Not wrong.
Anyway,
Rascal's gonna be giving Mads strokes and scritches. It's like, thanks for doing it.
She was bristly.
anyway,
Yeah, I don't blame
we should have
strutting.
we should have a Lexodon coming in a few.
Just give me a quick moment.
I just want you to know, Mads, you're really helping us out right now. We learned a lot from that. Yeah,
Yes.
you're the greatest.
Meow 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 meow.
No, she starts doing the leg cross thing and then goes back over to her position, awaiting her next number.
Okay.
under the table.
A little while, you hear a gentle at the door.
Ashwood opens it.
As
Hello,
you
can
open
I
the
help you?
door, you see this large 7-foot odd humanoid elephant. They're wearing oh god, what was he wearing? Oh, he's wearing what appears to be almost robes, where they're neatly pressed and clean, and they reach down to just above his knees, and he's wearing some sensible slacks. But as you open the door, he looks at you, and you just see the corner of his mouth just turn up in a pleasant smile, and he gives you a little nod to the head, and says, hello, I'm here for the interview.
Yes, please, come in.
Wonderful. He steps in and stands behind the chair.
My name is Ashwood Grumbletoes. This is Mr. Rascal Skyreach.
Pleasure to meet you. Please.
It is wonderful to meet you both. My name is Gordon.
Please go down, take a seat.
Thank you. He pulls out the seat, sits down, and just looks between you with a pleasant smile on his face.
So, tell her, you probably know how these things work. Would you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
I shall. I travelled for quite some time before reaching Waterdeep, and I acquired my first service job around that time. Since then, I have moved to where I've been needed, well, as the guild recommended. My last placement lasted for the better part of 25 years, before they no longer required my services.
What was that post again that you last took? Your last job?
I tended bar at an establishment not that far away from here, in fact. It is the Gilded Goose.
All
Alia,
right.
you can roll a history check if you want to recognize that name.
Alia? Is Alia there?
I think Sephi may have slipped off, but we can revisit that after he leaves.
And from what I remember from your resume, you have 40 years of experience in actually brewing, I believe, actually.
I do have some years of experience in brewing, but I have more in tending bar. I believe it takes a moment, and you can see him like counting on his fingers. A cumulative around 40 years behind bar, about 10 brewing.
So, since you worked at an establishment in this area, you probably are as well aware of wines as you are of the more traditional fare of ales, stouts, lagers.
I am familiar with quite a fair number of vintages, yes.
So, what could you tell me about the vintage that is currently on the table?
He glances at the bottle and he reaches his hand out for it and then looks up to you. May I?
Of course.
Of course, yes.
He picks up the bottle and looks at the label. And you see his trunk sways almost like in a breeze. And he looks up to you and says, this is one of the finer vintages of a mid-range market. It was from a vineyard far south. It pairs quite nicely with red meats. but it can also be drunken alone. It does have a quite summery and bright taste.
Well, that is very impressive, I have to say.
And that's when Mads decides to hop up on the lap.
Okay. You hop up, much like Brienne. There's like a mild surprise where the arms kind of go up, and then he glances down at you, and he's like, "Oh, hello." He brings one arm down to kind of gently encompass you, while the other just kind of slowly scritches your head. Oh, what a delightful creature. A pet?
One of the local cats that like this place.
Mads leans into it and puts on the performance.
And he's just absent-mindedly cradling you and scritching your head whilst giving his full attention to Ashford and Rascal. But as you
Mads
mentioned the
moves on
cats,
to. Sorry.
as you mentioned the cats, he kind of glances over and sees the one on the bar and the two in their little beds. He says, "Oh, that's nice. No home's complete without a companion."
And at that point, Mads moves on to Act 2 and does the curl up and sleep thing.
Oh. And he very gently puts his legs close together to give you more uninterrupted sleeping space, and just continues to gently pat your back.
And Mads is still and quietly purrs.
As she purrs, the little smile on his face.
So, I take it that you are a cat person, it seems.
I do enjoy animals in most forms, yes.
Well, as you can tell from the fact that Mr. Skyreach is a kobold, we are a bit of an unusual mix, one could say, around here.
Too true.
Do you have any problem with would you have any problem with that? I mean,
Okay.
let us just be honest. I prefer honesty over fake pleasantries.
Well, unusual makes life interesting, doesn't it? And he
That is
just smiles over the two of you.
I really like you, and our cats do too. That's very.
I'm right, and I'm. Oh,
Thank you,
great!
friend. I take that as a high compliment.
I'm trying to discern whether or not he's trying to bullshit his way.
As far as you can see, he seems to be a genuinely chill dude.
Well,
The dude abides.
Yeah.
well,
How does Mads feel about it? How does Mads feel about the any possible deception? If I have to roll, I'm happy to.
Roll insight if you like.
Yes.
Okay. Rascal, you're a little bit distracted by the fact that this man is currently petting your girlfriend.
No,
Mads,
it's not heavy petting.
Oh,
you
God.
get the impression that he is a pretty gentle soul. His hand is big enough to pretty much encompass most of your little feline body, but he is being so careful and so gentle with you. You get the impression that he is pretty careful. He's aware of his size and how intimidating he can look, so he's being very careful not to offend or scare anybody.
Mads moves on to step 3, which is a rollover and batting at the hand. No claw, no claw. It is a test.
Whenever you start to roll over, the arm that had been gently encompassing you, you feel that kind of tense as if he's ready to catch you. But
Aww.
he kind of looks down And he stops moving his hand as he kind of glances up to Rascal and Ashworth. He's like, the little one won't claw me, will she?
Oh no, not at all.
I
Alright.
don't think she will.
And he gives like a little two-handed, just a gentle two-handed stroke of your chest. He's not touching the belly.
Mads gently turns over and tries to hop down.
He gently lifts you down.
She knows good folks. She wouldn't have let you like play with her like that if she didn't like you.
Oh,
And then
I'll
Mads
take that as a
runs over
great
to
compliment.
Rascal. Sorry.
He like watches you walk away and gives a little smile, and then he slowly adjusts himself. He makes no effort to wipe off all the fur on his knee, but he adjusts himself now to be sitting up and like crosses his hands neatly on the table again as he looks to Ashworth and Rascal.
To be honest,
Zoomy.
to be perfectly honest, you have been you've been quite impressive, good sir.
I do appreciate you saying so.
I have one question about. You probably heard that question before from your last job. How would you deal with someone who has had a little bit too much for their own good in terms of drink?
Well, the first thing obvious is you do not serve them any more alcoholic drinks. Offer them
Wisdom.
water or milk. If they become disruptive, we would politely ask them to leave. If they become destructive, depending on whether the owners are content with it, they will be asked to leave in a less peaceful manner. Of course, causing the least amount of disruption to other patrons.
Of course. I think we can all
course.
agree with that.
That is almost almost what I would consider the perfect answer.
Mm-hmm.
It is. My grandfather used to have a bar similar to this, so that was actually what he wanted from his bartender as well.
I have had to deal with my share of drunken ruffians and lordlings alike.
We expect a rather mixed clientele. To be honest, maybe even a few kobolds will swing by at that time. So
That
It-
should make for some interesting company.
yes, and as you said, the differences make life even worth living. That is at least how I see things.
He just slowly nods whilst taking the longest time to blink. Just like, yes.
Anyway, I think we will be in touch with you soon about when you can start. We've had a few people to interview, and we will discuss it. But I assure you, you are currently the one I would pick the most likely.
Ditto.
You see his smile just kind of widens at that, and he looks quite happy as he gives you like a very polite nod, like it's almost like a half bow with his head. And it's like, I do appreciate you saying. I shall leave you to your deliberations, and I hope to hear from you soon. And he glances over and sees little Mad's cat and says, goodbye, little one. But he stands up, gives you both a deep bow, and then lets himself out.
So I'm pretty sure it's no contest. We're hiring the Loxodon, right?
Yes,
Mads,
he seems
sorry.
he seems actually the best suited to us.
Oh, definitely.
Mads comes up out of below camera range, zoop, turns back into a person, and our human person, and says, "I like him. If he's not a serial killer, then he's gonna be perfect. We should ask his boss, or we should check up on him, ask if they know anything at like the Yawning Portal or somewhere like that.
Yeah, I'm
Just
pretty sure
before
that
we
would
hire
be
him."
been on its records. I think that was
I
Okay,
think
well,
the
And
They
I like
wouldn't-
him.
If you're there, Sephi, you can do the history check for the Gilded Goose if you'd like.
Definitely.
Oh yeah, speaking of criminal records, I have one of those now.
well,
Elia, you know that the Gilded Goose, it is an establishment not that far away. It's still in the North Ward, and it seems to cater more to the upper class. It's a bit of a ritzy establishment.
Alia will pass on.
but to be honest, from his style of dress, I kind of imagined that he was used to the more ritzy places, given
So they
that he...
sounded that way.
I'm
Seems
sorry,
like he
Yes.
should appreciate.
with
Sorry.
Alia saying she passes that on, I just get the mental image of her like peeking her head over the top of the bar going, "This is ritzy."
I did too.
But that was only his past 25 years of experience. He's had 15 years in other places.
Yeah. Mads seems impressed and says, "The only problem is, that's the character I would play if I wanted to get into a bar." I mean, I have to say. And then she looks right at the two of them and says, "I've had a lot of experience with bars, bartending. Oh, as an immortal angel from another dimension, I have experienced so many."
I love the fact that despite the fact that Mad passed the insight check, she's the one that's still casting all this suspicion.
to be honest, if he were just trying to get into the bar, he would be playing the very long game. So I think he's more likely to be legit, Mads.
That's what he seemed like to me, but I just figured it was worth bringing up.
Yes, of course. You can never be too sure.
I think he'd just like to experience a new place with new ideas. I mean, 25 years of the same stuffed shirts must get tiring.
Yes. I think the half-orc was... the half-orc, as I said, number 5 out of 3.
Yeah.
And the dwarf, as much as I would have liked to have him, but we can only afford one bartender right now.
Can we hire the dwarf to shovel the waste? Or not the orc, I mean the orc. Can we hire the orc to shovel the waste?
We're not having him anywhere near this establishment.
It was a joke.
Oh,
I
sorry.
understand. No, I don't.
Personally.
I don't think he would appreciate being the poop smith.
And Ashwood gets it. No, and sign him into a lifelong contract.
Hey, I just don't want him anywhere near kobolds as a joke.
No, I don't want. No, I don't want him anywhere near you, Berry Bunny. I don't want him in this city.
He seemed rather single-minded, which is not a good thing when you have to run a bar.
Mm-hmm.
Very much so.
And
No, I would never let
given how poorly he treated you, I mean, I could see it.
It was obvious.
He would not be a good fit for the bar.
I
No.
wanted to cuff him, but I knew better.
Yes, you will have the satisfaction that he's not going to work here. And if you want to, you can tell it to him yourself.
I don't really want him anywhere near. I don't think we should tell him. We should just let him stay on the hook a while.
Well, I have to tell the guild, and the guild will inform him.
Yeah, that's perfectly fine, but he's coming nowhere near my bear bunny. Jokes aside.
I
Yes.
wonder if the guild are aware of his shitty attitude.
We're gonna tell him, right?
We are not going to. I mean, if it's interesting, his resume. The others had a letter of recommendation. He doesn't.
Well, that's pretty telling, isn't it?
Yes.
And yes, I know,
Absolutely.
Jurnis, that I'm just screwing up your characters, but it so fits.
Oh, Jaeger was an asshole, don't worry about it.
About the
Yeah.
dwarf, though, I don't suppose we could hire him on in another capacity.
As he said, he's no good with cooking, so
I mean,
I
he was
mean-
talking about bouncers.
yes, but I don't think he would be necessarily the greatest sponsor.
He had
No,
he
he
applied for
seemed-
several other places.
I mean, he will probably find a very good place for himself where he fits very, very nicely. And if he doesn't, well, he can always reapply with us, and we'll see if we can have a second barman.
Fair enough. Just hate to leave the guy out in the cold.
Yes, that is why I'm going to write a letter personally that that I am very sorry and that I think he would have been a good fit, but there had been someone who had fit a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with more relevant experience.
Yes, with a little bit more experience. I'm
It's too
going
bad
to
there's not enough-
I'm going to downplay the advantages of the other guy so he doesn't feel too bad about himself.
Mm-hmm.
The other guy knew shit about wine and played nice with a cat.
Yeah, he did. Yes, this guy knew everything. Knew about the clientele that you would have to expect usually.
Mhm.
Seemed to be happy to deal with a broad mix of people. So yeah, I think it's as much as I was suspecting that the Laxodon with 40 years would not want to work the brand new establishment. Here we are.
Yeah. I like the Luxid. I like, what was it? I can't remember his name.
Gordain.
Gordain, yes.
Gordain,
Okay.
I liked Gordain.
Yes. I will send word to the guild and try to grab a few resumes for potential as kitchen staff and a barmaid. A bit more of service, so that the barkeep doesn't have to run around.
Yeah.
Mm.
Do you want me to interview the barmaid?
Well, much like we did now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it worked out really well. We got some good
Yes.
insight on these people.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is actually a very good way to identify people who fit and people who don't.
Mm-hmm. You can tell a lot about people from how they treat animals.
Not only how they treat animals, but people who are seen as different.
Mm-hmm.
Even
Especially a beautiful and noble cat such as myself.
and yes, I mean,
I'm an animal and I'm different.
I believe some
Yes.
particularly haughty folk would use the term lesser races for what you're trying to describe, Ashford.
yes, I hate that term, to be honest.
You and me both.
I mean,
Anna, are you
it's-
joining in
it's-
this conversation, or are you just still crouching behind the bar?
Yeah, she's just still kind of
Ah.
sat there.
Alia, come over here.
We value your input.
Counter
Come
Kitten
on.
is just like swatting at your hair.
Thank
And
you.
if you're not coming over here, we're coming over to you. So
Oh, Thank you,
Don't make
Alia.
us come over there, young lady.
Were you listening, Alia? Were you listening in?
I was providing you information, remember?
Well, I
Yes.
mean, to the whole thing. Did you listen in the whole time?
Not the whole time, no.
Well, who did you like? Did you like the Luxodon like we did?
Personally, I think that the Loxodon would probably be the best fit, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Alia agrees. That's pretty significant indeed.
Yes.
Yeah. If you want to investigate him, you super can.
I don't see any reason to. The Guilty Goose is quite a respected establishment.
Alia nods. Or, I mean, Mads nods to Alia, I mean.
I was going to say, Matt takes Alia's head and nods it. You
We're in
nod now.
agreement.
Alia,
Then we're in
yeah,
agreement.
just always figured Matt's doing that. She and Alia just looking into each other's eyes.
All right.
It's like that
Okay.
anime little flash of lightning between the two of them.
So I will send word to the guild, send at least the one unfortunate rejection letter, and
There's nothing unfortunate about it.
well,
Oh, it's
to the
unfortunate.
to the dwarf.
Oh, yes.
dwarf.
Don't give any
Let-
letter. I was gonna say, don't give any letter to the orc. Let them just hang out
Yeah.
for a bit and find out that they don't get it.
They will probably get the word through the
They'll know
guild.
pretty soon. The guild will inform them, but they won't get a
Yep.
nice note with it.
Nope.
Yes, and this nice note always works well as because it is in a way a letter of recommendation.
And on top of that, Rascal, with your permission, I'd like to put up our first banned customer.
Well, if he pays, he can.
Mhm. If he
gets
pays, he's
the-
mean to cats and kobolds.
Well, to be honest, Matt, I don't think that he's ever going to set foot into this place again.
I'll
Which
tell
is
you
why I
what,
won't be-
Mads, if he comes in here, we'll keep an extra especially close eye on him. And if he starts anything, instant ban.
We can't
And
just ban
also
people willy-nilly.
And I'll have no problem being the one to bounce him.
Hmm.
True, I know we shouldn't ban people willy-nilly, but...
Yes.
I mean,
Oh,
we
Matt?
shouldn't.
Matt.
We shouldn't ban people before they had a chance to make themselves into the ass, make an ass out of
Exactly. We'll give him
themselves.
a chance to play nice if he comes for a drink, but keeping an eye on him.
Alright.
Yes, I mean we don't have to give him too much of the time of a day.
Oh, definitely not.
So,
Matt
use continue
stares
on to
hatefully out the window.
debate on whether or not to ban this disrespectful half-orc from your establishment. But as you talk on into the night, meanwhile, a little further
Yes.
away,
Yes.
Runal and Hunter spent some time wandering the park. You've got so engrossed in your conversations that you've walked for a little longer than you anticipated. You ended up making a circuit of the park 3 or 4 times, pausing on the second roundabout to sit near a pond and watch some ducks for a little bit. He's talked long into the late evening, and as the sun had started to set as you started your walk, it is now almost beneath the horizon. You see that the gas lamps are now being lit as one's going around the streets with I forgot the name of them, with the fire lighter sticks, just basically lighting the lamps. And when that starts happening, Lord Fairwind offers to escort you home to ensure you get home safe before the night falls. He takes
She nods and
Yeah, sorry, go on.
I was gonna say she nods and graciously takes his hand.
I take his hand. You take his hand fully. and
Salacious.
You almost hear the gulp in his throat, but he gives you a gentle squeeze on the hand as you head back towards the manor. By this time, you can see, as you approach, that your companions are still discussing something in the turret window. They are so engrossed in their conversation that they don't seem to notice the two of you as you stand out the front of the tavern. The option now stands that you could either go inside and join the conversations, but you do also know that there is an external staircase upstairs.
She looks inside, then looks over to the external stairs, then looks back at him. Starts leading him over to the stairs.
Oh.
You girl.
Okay. He reaches the bottom of the stairs and he takes your hand in both of his as he looks you in the eyes, and with this subtle little smile that he's had on his face most of the day, he says, "Well, I must say I've had quite an enchanting evening, my dear Lady Swiftpaw. I must thank you greatly for that."
It doesn't have to end.
And his eyes kind of widen and he goes into a... sorry?
She then leans in and kisses him.
Yay!
Long and slow, slowly closing her eyes.
Whenever you first lean forward, his body just goes rigid. But then he kind of relaxes, and you can feel his arms just kind of slowly snake around you as he steps closer.
She holds the kiss for a few minutes, and then breaks it, looking in his eyes for taking hold of his hand and leading him up the stairs.
He follows you with a goofy, happy expression.
She then, once upstairs, she leads him into her bedroom.
And
Getting inside, closing the door, and kissing him again.
he follows behind. As you close your bedroom door, you can see the nervousness of when he first entered the tavern has kind of come back. But he seems to take courage in your presence, and he seems to lean into the kisses. He seems quite happy. So I think we'll leave those two alone there.
Oh yeah.
Oh, definitely.
And
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to end the
Hunter,
session. Hello?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hey,
Hello?
Yes, it absolutely is.
So I think that's where we'll end the session for this evening.
Hell yeah.
Ah!
It
Successful, good,
happened!
Successful.
Finally!
Everyone.
Hunter
One true pairing achieved.
Yeah.
Yes!
Snoo.
Now we gotta figure out, do Tabaxi have human or feline?
That's something we'll figure out between the
off,
weeks.
off the stream.
So, play of the game?
The Lovebirds, of course!
Yeah, I was gonna say. I think we just heard it a moment ago.
Excellent. Fail of the game.
The half-orc.
That fucking orc.
Yeah.
Not even
F
an
you,
attempt
man.
to hide the distaste.
Nope. Precious bastard. He also does not like cats.
Did you research what he applied for?
No.
It's a fucking kobold on the logo. You.
I thought it was a kobold corpse.
You know, I bet he would have thought that too.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, Mads had a plan for him if none of y'all had stepped in.
Were you
Oh,
gonna
please.
claw his legs?
No, Mads was gonna send him like a formal letter inviting him to come down to work in the sewers, and we all know how that goes with Mads.
My dear, we'll kill him once we know he hit a kobold or something.
Uh-huh.
Questions,
He would
comments,
not have
or
come back
theories?
out. What's with that Luxodon? What's the story there? I'm
He's a nice guy. That's the story.
Mads is still suspicious.
Also,
Dude.
are you starting to get a little bit confused about being brought into the group more?
You will interact with us. You will be our friend, whether you like it or not.
You
What?
will play with us forever and ever.
You're
That's
a
not
good
quite
person. You
what Mads
deserve
is
friends.
doing.
Damn it.
Mads has her own thing going on with Alia, but we'll see.
So, Gordain will join the crazy family that is the staff at Rascal's Rendezvous.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
Do we have any other interviews already arranged, or was that it for now?
I think actually Ashwood had sent out for resumes for the kitchen staff and the barmaid.
Okay.
I didn't get to
But
do the. Sorry.
But those didn't come in yet.
It's honestly nice to be doing just normal tavern shit for a little bit.
Yes.
Those would be available tomorrow if you want, when you
Yeah.
drop off your request for your barman.
Ooh, related to the bar, we have actually got to pay the city, the guild, haven't we, for their services?
You could also
Yes.
do that as well. Did you give Rudolph the 500?
I did, yeah. I just remembered it,
Okay.
so I added it to his inventory.
Well, let's have a little look.
1,500 should it?
Yeah,
Roughly.
1,510 gold pieces and 12 copper pieces.
And it's 1,000 gold for the workmen guild licenses and the signing fees for your staff. So you can pay that the next day, but you do need to pay it within the next few days at the very
Yeah,
least.
we are running out of time on actually making good on our promise to pay our damn bills.
Yes.
All right. So I think we'll leave that there. Going down the list, we have a good night from our animal test, D.
Wash your hands, wear a face mask, and be kind to animals.
Oh yeah, be kind of animals. A good night from Big Boss Ashward, Derek Cork.
Good night from me, and what he said is true.
A good night from Lucky in Love, Icy.
Good night, everyone.
A good night from Bossman Rascal.
Hell yeah. Good night, everybody.
And lastly, a good night from the reluctant business partner, Seth.
I got to be hearing it from two different directions tonight.
You are. Rascal's fully healed now. He can go at it.
Well, there's a thought. So,
God.
that's a good night from me. So, Good night, everybody. I'll see you on Tuesday for Into the Maelstrom. Love
Good
y'all.
night.
Good night.
Night.